Oh, yeah.
Waters for you guys?
So when an Uber passenger taps a few buttons on their smartphone to call a ride, are they a taxi firm or a technology service? That was the question of the European Union's top court, and it's ruled that Uber is a taxi operator, and therefore should be regulated like one. That's another legal blow for Uber, which says it disagrees, but will nonetheless continue with European expansion plans. The case was brought by traditional taxi drivers in Barcelona. Those drivers celebrating today. Uber has made several changes.
Uber just named a new chief operating officer, Barney Hartford. He's the former Orbitz chief. Fair and balanced.
Talk to the foreign guy.
What is
mainly an installer.
Foundation.
He wants
This is the future.
to talk after the first.
Right now, Stefan is free.
And we need a place he wants to talk after the first.
From diabetes prevention to safety around water.
Pretty much installed.
How about that satellite?
They can't do it.
They're not satellite.
Still need to do.
We've got to find a
When
good
it comes to
solar
the
company.
holidays,
No, I'm going to tell him, I said, we're going to find somebody if you don't come on.
No, I'm not saying let's just find somebody. Yeah. I mean, we can have more than
Well,
one.
what's nice about him is he does maintenance too. And most of these other people just do installation.
And if Honda takes a crash, they
I don't
can
know.
It's a smart way to stay informed about your car.
It's the wife.
Keep your family safer on the road.
Oh,
Get
I know.
holiday
My
season
buddy
at
on
Honda.
it.
Get where
Which
you
is
go.
obviously
Honda.com or your local Verizon store for special holiday savings.
Wow. But you look, you know, you look my age, and I'm 64, but you know, you definitely don't look older. I bet you want to
Get the papers, this guy did this thing going. Joe.
80% of Fortune 500
Why does somebody that?
because that's smart
Oh,
financial money.
okay.
It's Ross Kaminsky for my friends at Alliance Leasing, who can help you save
I haven't seen
money and more.
and if you need the first status up on here, you look really good.
No. Only up to you need it at the lowest delivered price. I'm a finance guy.
That's what I got
The choice of leasing with Alliance.
You never sent me a doctor's name. I need to get that.
Learn more at alliance.lease. That's right. Just type alliance.lease. Alliance Leasing, your key to the perfect fleet.
My taxes will go down about 6%. Yours should be around 6.2%.
You can, and you don't even have to go out of your way.
I don't know how the
We're
Democrats
talking
could
about
even lie about
softest
that.
pajamas
Well, but
available
people are saying that for the average person, it's bad for the middle class.
No.
Are you kidding me?
Maybe-
Average, give me average,
And
75
the
to
majority of
125?
Americans think it's bad. Did you know that?
Well, look at the media's against it.
Of course. Yeah.
People are stupid. Americans are stupid. They are.
How much is for the average?
What is average,
Let's
though?
say 75 to 125.
That's not, I don't know if that's
Or
average.
let's say 50 to 100.
5.3%.
Wait a minute. 4% of people, 4% make over 100 grand. 4%.
Yeah.
That's so. How do you figure middle class is up to 100?
40 to 75.
Do you realize that only
4.6%.
And if you got kids,
That's how many people? That's $3,000 in your pocket if you're making 75.
$1 million a year.
So how?
Less than 1% make $1 million a year.
Yeah.
4% make 100,000.
No, the next level is under, the first 4% make under 250, or maybe it's the first 3%.
I've heard a real shocking percentage of what a small percentage of people could raise $500 a month.
And I
Company. People make your business work. But how do you find the right talent? ZipRecruiter. One click posts your job to over 100 top job boards. Then, smart matching technology instantly alerts quality candidates about your job. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
To try ZipRecruiter for free, just go to ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio.
This is the Troubleshooter Show.
Help! I need some
Tom Martino, the Troubleshooter.
Help me if you can, I'm feeling down.
Hi, Tom Martino here. Welcome to the only show of its kind anywhere where we are solving problems, answering questions, taking complaints, and making life just a little easier. All you have to do is give us a call. We solve problems. The number you can call 24/7 is 303-MARTINO, 303-627-8466. However, when you're listening to the show, you can also call 303-713-TALK. That's for our studio right here, 303-713-8255. Live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on KHOW, live on KRDO Radio, and live on the iHeartRadio app across the country. And you can download us on iTunes and elsewhere. So welcome, one and all. I get a lot of email from people who are after the fact, and they're yelling at their radio, listening to the podcast. So if you're listening to the podcast, feel free to make a comment. You can always call 303-MARTINO while you're listening to the podcast, make a comment, and I'll let you know what you're commenting on. Most of the comments I've gotten lately were about Christmas gifts, good gifts, bad gifts, what makes a good gift, what makes a bad gift. You can comment on that if you want. Today, we have Joe Chiano in the studio with his son Jordan. They're financial advisors, and they do the Become the Banker concept I've been advertising. And from time to time, we have people in from the referral list to explain more in depth what they do. Now, of course, we never have a single topic show. We will solve your problems, answer your questions, take your complaints, and make your life just a little easier. As I said, all you have to do is call. And that is Become the Banker concept. I love the concept. I love it. I love it in practice, not just the concept. To me, it's an investment for everyone. For some, it would be their first investment and their only investment because it's safe, secure, and doesn't take a ton of money. For others, it's an auxiliary investment. But all you have to do, if you want to know anything about it, call us. If you want to challenge it, call us. We talk about this because whenever we advertise anything, we believe in it, and we want to know everything there is about it. We also have a common man in the studio who's not common at all. Oh, my God, when you hear this guy's story, oh, wow. I was listening to his story, and I was thinking, this can't be true. This is a movie, man. This is a movie. Ian Heinich. He's an MMA fighter. Oh, but there's so much more to it than that. You know, we're going to talk about it. It's a great, in my opinion, great Christmas story. A great story of redemption, a great story of triumph, a great story of overcoming obstacles. Woo! Wait till you hear that story. But we're going to go to the phones, as we always do.
I got to bring up taxes real quick, man.
Okay.
CNN right now has a calculator.
Everyone hates taxes.
Well,
everyone says that the American people hate the new tax bill.
They're going to love it.
Well,
Tom, I'm telling you, CNN, and if they don't love it, they need to go to where they usually go, CNN. They got a calculator there. It's so easy. Do you make between 40 and 75, 75, 125? You choose the income. Are you married? How many kids you have, and then you hit how much you're going to save, no matter how I look at this. And I urge people to go out there, plug your information in. Takes 10 seconds. I'd say the average person's going to put $3,000 extra a year starting in February. It's amazing. Some people up to $5,000, $6,000. It's amazing. And this isn't, I'm not saying go to Drudge Report. I'm not saying go to Fox News. I'm going, go to CNN. If anybody can't stand Trump and this tax plan, it's CNN. And it's their calculator up and running right now. It's incredible.
And what does it show, Mark? It shows that most people are going to save money?
Here, if your household makes between $40,000 and $75,000, you have 2 kids, you file jointly because you're married, and you itemize, so you have some write-offs. You're going to save about 6% next year. So 6%, imagine that.
Now, I heard one of the dumbest comments I've ever heard from somebody in our office this morning. And I'm not going to mention any names, but his initials are TS.
Yeah.
And he said, how ridiculous. This is going to take...
corporations.
This is going to take a lot of money out of the economy or something. They're going to have way less... They're going to... He says they're going to just spend all that money on themselves. And I said, all right, let's play with that. People talk about evil rich and people talk about the rich. Okay, let's talk about that. They decided one time to tax the rich on luxury goods. Did it hurt the rich? Not one of them. Not one of them got hurt. You know what? You know who it hurt?
The people building the luxury
yacht builders in North Carolina went under. In Cape Hatteras, all these people that make yachts in New Jersey and in North Carolina, they were going under because no one was buying yachts. Or they were buying used yachts and figuring out ways around it. So not one person got hurt that was rich. But they thought, yeah, we'll get those bastards. You want to buy a yacht? We're going to throw on a luxury tax. It hurt no one except the worker. So the point being, when people say corporations don't pay tax, it makes me laugh. Because in order for a corporation not to pay tax, they have to pay out that money in either capital expenditures, expenses, or payroll. Payroll pays more tax than corporate.
Dividends.
And dividends. So, but what I'm saying is, you pay more tax on the money they pay out than the money they would retain. There's more tax paid on the money paid out. And the money paid out for capital goods stimulates the economy. Again, unless a billionaire or a millionaire takes their money, wads it up, and puts it in a mattress, it is circulating in the economy, helping to stimulate jobs and growth. It just happens, whether you like it or not. The cars that you buy employ people. The boats that you buy employ people. The jets and airplanes you buy employ people. I don't look at it as evil. You're employing people by doing what you're doing. And why people think if people have more money to spend, it hurts the economy, they're nuts. Well, it helps the economy when you have money and when you have more money. When the government takes your money, it doesn't help the economy. It helps the economy when people have more money to spend. It's that simple.
Well, you brought up a great one real quick. You're talking boats. Let's say, forget about that. Let's talk about cars real quick. Let's say a big company wants to buy more cars this year. One of the incentives is they can write off all that money at once. They don't have to take just a little bit each year on that vehicle, which will do what? It'll create new jobs, sell more cars.
Well, if you look at it that way. But it's amazing to me how many people don't look at it like that. Okay, Roger, you wanted to talk about become the banker. Now, for those listening, it's a very simple concept of overfunding a life insurance policy. The idea and the purpose is not to buy life insurance. That's, to me, an added benefit. But you overfund this policy on purpose, because it goes to cash value, it grows tax-free. You borrow from it yourself, pay yourself back with interest instead of credit cards or banks. Then as you grow this account, it eventually becomes your retirement account, where you basically draw paychecks every month and not pay a dime of tax on it. When all these loans come due at death, your life insurance pays it off. I can't think of one downside to this investment. The only downside would be if you can't afford to put away money. So, Roger, you have a question.
Yes, I was just wondering if I was paying more than I should because originally when I took out the policy.
Now, who'd you take it out with?
MetLife.
And what did you take it out for?
Well, I took it out for
security.
For
your family? No, for what? Why did you buy a life insurance policy?
Well, for the family and funeral expenses.
How old were you when you took this out?
I was 70 years old because the company I worked for, my policy I had through there, it canceled when I was 70. They dropped it.
Okay, and the policy you bought, is it whole life?
Well, the policy I bought is not term insurance. It is called variable universal
life.
Life, yes.
Do you know? Okay, yeah. And how much? What is the face value of your policy?
The face value is
how much?
$50,000.
And how much is your premium?
Well, $300. I increased it.
$300 a month?
Yes.
And what was it?
Well, it was $229, but then every year at the end of the year they send me a statement that says your policy will remain in force until until you reach 80.
Okay, and I wanted to get Joe Keano's opinion on whether or not that's a good deal for life insurance. Now, this is not the kind of life insurance that Joe Keano sells. He's just giving an expert opinion here. That the kind Joe sells is investment grade for one purpose only, for overfunding it. That's the only purpose you buy it. If you're not going to overfund it, you shouldn't do it. Now, this policy you bought because you wanted money expenses when you die. So, what do you think about that policy, Joe?
Well, you know, Tom, Roger, you know, what you have is what they call a variable universal life.
Right.
Which part of it, it's real term insurance. That's what it is. And the other part of your premium goes to an investment account. And you buy mutual funds with that investment. Now, every year that you get older, your term insurance will get higher and higher and higher, taking away money from that investment account. And if the investments don't do well, here's the real downfall. You could lose your policy. The policy could lapse. I personally don't believe in that type of life insurance because it is actually not guaranteed. The Become the Banker policy, Roger, on the other hand, is totally guaranteed.
Yeah, but wouldn't his insurance be expensive at 70 years old to buy a life insurance policy?
No, he could pay the same amount, Tom.
And what would be the benefit of buying one that you have as opposed to this one?
He would have a similar, if not a little bit less of a death benefit. So
okay.
You have $50,000 right now, but I will tell you one thing, Roger, that we will guarantee, the company will guarantee that your cash accumulation, you will never lose. You will only see that policy grow without, this is really a key, without surrender penalties. If you look at the surrender charges right here on your policy, you may have to
so now, but if he wanted to convert now, he's going to lose money.
Exactly, Tom. And this is almost like a crime to me.
Yeah, because he should have bought the other kind. You're saying, even if, I never thought of this, but even if people just want burial insurance or that, you're saying you still have a superior product.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it makes 4% guaranteed.
That's right.
Plus dividends.
Plus dividends.
And the death benefit is never in jeopardy.
It will never be in jeopardy. It is guaranteed with no surrender penalties.
Okay, but the policy that he has, his question was that $300 a month, will that be sufficient? And the answer is no, not for a long time. As you get older, you're going to have to increase.
That is correct.
But how does he know how much to increase it? They don't tell him.
They do tell him.
They do tell him.
Oh, they do.
They do tell him because see, they're going to write him a letter saying, unless you pay this amount, your policy will lapse. It's term insurance.
So I hope that answered your question. Listen, I have to take a quick break because we are heavy today. We want to talk about this important stuff. I also want to get to our guest. 303-713-TALK. If you're looking for home improvements, Genesis Total Exteriors does both exteriors and interiors. GenesisTotalExteriors.com. 303-679-8509. You know, you hear about home improvement ripoffs all the time on this show. If you hire Genesis, you can be guaranteed you're going to get superior work, ethics, honesty, and they're not going to skip with your money. 303-679-8509.
Let's start off with good news. We'll take that crash on northbound I-25 at Brooklyn University as they cleared on their way from the back. Still delays downtown on drive on northbound I-25, right up 6th Avenue. We've got traffic at Goldwater. Like the drive across town in Fairview.
Oh, that's
Tom, this is ridiculous. Westbound I-70.
It's a sin. No. They have $100 premiums. It's $270. Expenses. Egregious compared to yeah, so we can cheapest money. But the time is we know how long we've been on it. Some people are on it for hours. Yeah, oh yeah, easily. Well, it's just the how things go. Yeah.
How are you doing? You're going to the sales? You want to listen? Okay, so let me hook you up. You just got to be close. I got to put another splitter in here.
I appreciate it. I was just making fun of Ted's tangle over here.
Ted?
Yeah, I mean, you're Ted today. We call you Ted all day, so you're going to be Ted.
Buying the Hillary shirts. You'll love it.
No, I was looking.
Here, got that.
Thanks, man.
He's got this incredible tangle under here. Like you want.
When was the last time you walked out of a mattress store feeling confident about your purchase? This exists for one year.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I knew you were working somewhere as a salesman. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear?
Hi,
Can you put it on there?
and I'm one of the co-founders of Casper.
You look good. Those gold ones look good.
No.
You can't hear?
We're a great name at an incredible value.
Are you sure?
Really? Online.
Check all the...
Markups of mattress stores. We let you try it out in your own home for 100 nights risk-free. In less than 3 years, we've rapidly become the internet's favorite mattress. In fact, it now has more than 20,000 reviews with an average of 4.8 stars.
Yeah.
Try us out today.
Step one, unplug it.
You started out by calling me Ted this morning.
I didn't call you Ted.
Yes, you did. I
Well, I
said
thought it was
something. You said I said something. You said Ted.
Yeah, because you sounded like Ted.
Oh, okay.
Looks like Ted.
Liberal like Ted.
Probably in
I went down there to get my thing.
George.
I opened up the door and I goes, he's slamming me.
George. My wife said that she finally found somebody just a little bit to the right of her.
Hooray for hot showers.
You guys.
So you live in Colorado or whereabouts?
Yeah. We've been on a social. Game areas that one bug me.
One of these doesn't bug most people.
Yeah.
You have to be. Wouldn't that be funny if they did?
You have to be. 10% people in your household have to get
something like that. It's a giveaway. Yeah, no, you have to transgender by 30. How you've been doing it your whole life?
No, MMA about 3.5 years, and then but boxing before that.
Very nice. Go away. Putting extra money in your pocket each and every month. So why not
He's got the look.
Yeah,
boxer, doesn't he?
American finance?
What? You got the look.
Got the look of a fighter, man.
How many times your nose been broken?
2 or 3.
I know it's been broken a couple times, but I don't look like you.
I've never. I block quicker.
Mark is pretty, man. He's pretty.
He's a pretty boy.
He
Don't hit the face.
He's my muscle, by the way.
I take care of him. I take care. That's why he doesn't have a broken nose.
Now is the time to have your furnace checked.
Pretty boy.
$29 online services accompany you.
By the way, I got a gun.
Dad actually wants 30 broke my
No
back.
friends today.
About time.
Okay? You do it
Oh, I know,
without
I've been struck by lightning and snake bit.
Really?
I think he's gone for.
You were struck by lightning?
Yeah. Well, indirect, it hit the gutter and then the garage door and then knocked me down.
Mark, did you hear every time his life has been spared?
Snake, lightning.
It is. What else? Like broke back?
Broke back.
Brokeback Mountain.
His mind was spared.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That was the worst one.
He's been there, done that.
That was worse than lightning.
That was worse than lightning.
Yeah, that is right.
I can't see Clint climbing out of that tent.
Tom doesn't know I've been in a
With a smile?
helicopter crash.
No way.
Yep. 1978.
Hi, Tom Martino here. Welcome to the show.
303.
303-713-TALK. 303-713-8255. Okay, George has a question about Become the Banker. Go ahead, George.
Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
Yeah, I've known about becoming your own banker for some years, since you started talking about it years ago. But I'm wondering about a young child, an older teenager or even a little older in their 20s, the advocacy of using this as an investment tool, given all the choices they have. I don't think they need a high insurance policy, but the idea of building an account that is tax-free, and I don't know how it could be even used if they started earlier for the purposes of determining income for paying for
well,
college.
they can do it for college. That they can. It's kind of like a Roth, except, well, it is like a Roth because you don't deduct the money you put in, and all the money that you put in grows tax-free, and there's a way to draw it out for college tax-free. So it is kind of like a Roth, but it's super-powered because there's no limit. The only limit is the life insurance you buy, right?
Exactly, Tom. And you know, and this is a beautiful investment for a young person, you know, because the insurance cost is a lot lower than somebody older.
So more of the premium dollar goes to the investment.
It goes to the cash.
What is the average cost of insurance on a dollar?
Well, you know, that depends on the age.
Oh, give me ideas. From what to what? From what? From a low end when you're younger, what? 10% of the dollar? 20%?
Maybe like if somebody's young, it would be like maybe 10%.
Okay, and as you get older, 60.
It could be like maybe 40 or 50%.
But by that time, you're drawing it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But the insurance cost does not go up. Once you start the policy, it will remain at that level for the rest of your life.
Oh, it will.
Oh, it is. It's not like this. It's not like Rogers policy.
So if somebody starts it young or in their middle life and it's 20%, it'll never go up?
It will never go up, Tom. That's the beauty of whole life insurance.
So, George, it sounds like if you got into it in your 30s, man, that would be an incredible tool. Or even
how about someone in their
teens?
How about someone in their late teens or 20s?
If a parent started it for them? You started it for your son Jordan, didn't you?
I have, Tom. I have actually 6 children, and each one of them have a policy.
Jordan, did you borrow from it for anything?
Yes, actually.
What did you buy with it?
So this hits home for me because I actually borrowed for my first vehicle when I was 16 years old.
So you bought a car with it?
Bought a car through it, paid cash, and then I paid myself back exactly what the bank would have charged me. And that's where the whole name comes in, become the banker.
So when you paid back your car payment, you made a payment every month?
Every month, and I paid myself the interest, and at the end of the term, I recaptured the principal and the interest that I would have lost to
And that interest is now growing tax-free?
Now growing tax-free, 4% guaranteed, plus dividends. Yep.
So then did you borrow for anything else later on?
Yep, second vehicle, put it down for down payment on a condo, and that's what I'm using right now. And hopefully about 3 or 4 years from now, I'll have enough to pay off the remaining balance on my condo. So that's the whole idea, is you start it when you're young.
You do it for yourself.
Do it for yourself, be a private entity, and don't use the traditional banks for major purchases.
George?
Wow.
That's
amazing.
That's a real life example right here. He buys his cars, he put money down on his condo, and plus he has life insurance.
So it's all in the child's name, but anyone can contribute. Doesn't it have an automatic withdrawal from a specific account, as I recall? Does that have to be the child's
You mean
account?
to make the premium?
Yes.
Do you have to set up auto payments for the premium?
No, you don't have to. You can actually do an annual payment, or you can set up an automatic withdrawal from your checking account, but the insurance will be on the child.
Right.
Okay.
And what would be the smallest contribution you could possibly make? Start off with.
Yeah, what is
but you know, it depends on the child's age, but on a teenager, you're looking at maybe between $150 to $200 a month.
Okay, so $150, $200 a month, and then that's totally available to them.
Right.
As I'm trying to remember, is it the total? What percent of what they're putting in
is available?
What's available to them is above and whatever is above and beyond minimum premium.
I would say like maybe 60% of the cash is available day one.
About 60%, and as you go on, more and more,
it gets higher to almost 97%.
Wow.
Wow. I've got my son is really young. He's 14. He just started
That could be
it,
George,
summer.
that could be one of the best things you do for him, man.
Great Christmas present.
I just started thinking about it, so I want to thank you, Tom, for keeping this alive. It's been many years since you first started talking about it.
Right.
So I have a question. How do you choose where to go? Because there are a lot of these...
Yeah, this is what I wanted to tell you, George. A lot of people listening may go out and call their life insurance guy and say, I want to do this, and then they end up with a policy like that other dude that just called, and he's being sadly overcharged for insurance, and it's not an investment. It's more of a shakedown. Remember, you want to buy the least amount of life insurance for the most amount of cash value. You want to get that balance. So where do you go? Right. Well, Joe is one of them, and there are other people that do this, but I have to tell you that I like the underwriters that Joe uses. He's been using the same underwriter for how many years now, Joe?
20 years, Tom.
See, I've known Joe for 20 years. This is the first year I started doing commercials for him because I swear to God, what I did is I watched someone who did this that I used to work with. I'm not going to mention a name. And I watched her, and I made sure before I got involved that this was really for sure. I think we've been talking for 10 years, haven't we?
At least.
Before I decided to do this.
That is correct.
10 years. because I want...
Joe, what's your company name, and is he on the referral list?
Yeah, he is, yes. And it's becomethebanker.org is his website, becomethebanker.org. And you can look at my video and sign up for a seminar if you want at becomethebanker.info. And then, of course, you can just call him directly. We have a number here. You can call him directly at 779-6600, 303-779-6600. We have to move on, and then I want to introduce my guest, and of course I'm going to take all of your phone calls as well. Andrew, what's your problem with the dealership? Andrew?
Yes.
What's going on with the car dealership?
Well, I'm 31, and I just recently got my first car loan.
Yes.
And within the first month, the engine blew.
Oh, is this a used car?
Yes, it is.
How many miles were on it?
About 189 when I bought it, 190 now.
Yeah, my God, you can almost bet you're going to have problems. You kind of knew when you bought a car with 189,000, you'd probably have some trouble, right?
Well, it's a Subaru, so I thought they would probably at least last a good 50,000 before anything major happened.
Did you have it checked out?
They told me that it was already checked out and everything was good on it, and they had a repairman right next door.
Did they put that in writing?
No, they didn't. I don't believe.
So you bought it as is?
Yes.
Andrew, where'd you buy it?
It's a dealership called House of Cars.
I want to tell you that it's possible they did check it out. It's possible that they didn't know it was going to blow. Or it's possible they knew it was a piece of junk. The problem is you bought it as is, and there's really not much you can do. I mean, not much. What did the dealer say they would do for you? Anything?
No, he let me borrow a van that's literally, it's got like 3 check gauges on the dashboard. And now
how much did you save up for this, man? Or what's your first loan? How much is it?
So I sold my RV, and I also gave collateral to make it work. They needed, I think, $2,200 down is what they said, something around there.
It's not even worth $2,200. Wait, you put $2,200 down?
Yeah, I put $1,000 cash and gave him collateral of a handgun, my grandfather's shotgun, and a couple of
God! And then wait, and then what's the loan on it?
The loan's for about $6,000, and the reason why I'm doing this is so I can buy a house in a year or two.
Yeah, but
I don't
man,
have any credit.
But you way overpaid for this car.
I mean, as a first-time buyer with no...
I wish you would have called me, Andrew. I really, man, you sound like a good guy. I wish you would have called me. You really got screwed on this deal. Let's call these guys and see if they can at least put them in another car or something. Clint, you want to give them a call? Let's just hold on, Andrew. I'm Tom Martino. We got more coming up, and I feel so badly for this guy. Okay, Rocky's Auto, 63rd and Federal. If you went there, you get a Carfax with every car. They have clean used cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans, but they're used cars. Listen, when you go shopping, you got to have cars checked out. Rocky's has a great selection of used cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans. They have 40 lenders as well to choose from. If you're going to go to somebody you know and trust, shop around. But then take your numbers and go to Rocky's, put them on the list. Rocky's, 63rd and Federal, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 8, 303-426-4646. I'm Tom Martino for Ideal Home Loans for your...
For what, though?
He paid $8,300.
I don't know why they separate out.
And he's stuck with that loan now.
Did they?
I can't find it.
I can't find it. Any of you are. This sucks.
Yeah,
Poor guy.
So, you guys, I got to get your car too. I have like insurance through Northwestern, and I want to see if
you're probably getting ripped off.
Well, so I'm paying $58 a month for $100,000.
Well, you probably have term.
I have term.
Yeah, well, term is not an investment.
You don't want that.
If you want, when you're younger, you should take advantage of. Mark, you'd be happy to know I spilled.
Yeah, well, I'll give you guys a call and set something up. Seriously.
Took you a while.
Yeah.
Is there a
Yeah. So go out the door, go down here. I'll just give you a little.
So I can start putting money down.
Heard that. That's the whole idea is,
And you can put just a little down now, then when you get more money, you put it on more and more as you get more, but you keep it alive.
Do lump sums, or if you just want to build it up piecemeal, but...
If you can only afford a little right now, you just do a little, but then later on, you can increase it.
Okay.
We're not obligated to put in a bunch all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the beauty of this.
And if you're young, you don't need to.
So I can start at like 150, 200 a month,
Yeah.
do that, and then build it up slowly over time, or do a lump sum in addition to that. Like people do it all the time where they refinance their houses, they do a lot of crazy things with this that you never think is possible.
Now, if you, let's say you get a big win, you want to put a lump sum in, you can.
Get that 50G bonus, you're always
Exactly right. That's right. And it'll grow guaranteed. Now, it won't grow as fast as, let's say, somebody who's actively investing in the stock market, but then you don't have the risk either. It's guaranteed. And it's tax-free. So the effective rate would be, for someone like me, the effective rate's like 8%.
Right. So yeah, I think just to come think about, I think a term. Yeah, and that's what most people start out with. I think, you know, I compare it to like renting and owning. You know, with term, you want to start out when you're young because you're renting, you don't have like a lot, you know, maybe you have some debts. You pay really cheap insurance. But you want to start to get to ownership. Sure. You buy a house, eventually you want to buy a house. You know, a whole life, you want to eventually move. It's kind of like it's kind of like savings account. It's like that equity that's built from it, like it's all exactly. You have access to that equity without term. You have no equity.
Yeah, but why would he want term with no dependents?
Exactly right. That's the thing.
Well, you guys try to make your folks rich.
Well, here was the idea behind it. I got it before I became like a professional pilot. Because if I got it when I was a pilot, it would have been super expensive.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy expensive. That's why not a lot of people. So that's why I got it beforehand, because I'm locked into that rate. So that was kind of what sold me on it, you know.
A huge commission. They never talk to me again.
Am I your
So for us, we work on volume. That's why we make this.
Danny, would you like me to write you on there, man?
We get, you know, 100 people or something like that. So,
yeah, okay.
Yeah. So we get paid by the insurance company.
Yeah, I'll give you guys a call like the next couple of days.
When's your next one?
So we got our next summer in January 27th. 25th and 27th. So
down here again?
Centennial's the 25th at 6:30. Yep.
Good. 27th on a Saturday.
Strategically delivered with guided injection. Only MDs deliver the injections. We work
this right over here. Right over here.
Oh, yeah. Wait, the one at Landmark?
Not Landmark. It's the new, they got this new skyrise over here. We had 2 cups of coffee there. We had a lot of hands that made them put together.
We do.
That's delicious. Unless you have
I got that. Tell you to ask you because you know you get the double deduction, but you start itemizing.
You know that guy Jay Moore?
You got to go above that.
Skeptical person. That was it. I got it in the fire.
Otherwise,
Interesting.
no, you can't. But you don't make standard deduction.
That was
Start itemizing. You don't get that increased standard deduction. Does that make sense?
No.
They raised the standard deduction. Double basically what it is. Sorry, but most people don't itemize. So that's great for them.
So they get to 24,000, they don't pay any tax.
You itemize. Now your interest rate and your taxes on your own have to go above it. Otherwise, you know, just like now, you don't get a deduction. So you itemize, it's got to go above that.
We shall hit it today at 1. Glenn Beck tonight.
Why wouldn't you? Zero reses the tape. Hi, if you want to save money on floor covering, simplyfloorsinc.com. You won't do better than Simply Floors Inc.
Simply Floors Inc.
You won't save more money
you won't save more money ever unless you use them. You can save 30 to 50%. Here's how it works. Go on their website, simplyfloorsinc.com, make an appointment into the evenings if you want. They'll send out someone, and if you decide to buy from them, you can go to 52nd and Ward and check out all the goods, or they can bring samples with them. And then they provide complete designer services. Mark's used them. Everyone I know uses Buddy and raves about him, not just the selection of all the big boys, but savings more than them. Even though he's a small company, he's cut that overhead down, and he competes with them head to head. That's simplyfloorsinc.com. Okay, now, we have an email that said, what's the difference, and I'll answer this, between become the banker and borrowing from it, and borrowing from your 401k. There's a million things I can tell you. Here's the main difference. If you have a 401k and you borrow from it, you must pay it back or it's considered income. With a 401k, you can never take income from it without it turning into income. You can't take loans and not pay them back, or it will be deemed income, and you'll pay a penalty plus income tax. If you leave it there until you're 59 and a half or 60, then you can start taking it, but it's not a loan, it's income, and you pay tax on it. So you can never borrow from it without paying it back. That's fine if you want to borrow from it to buy something, you can, but that money you put in does not help you get income later on tax-free. It'll never be tax-free as income. Whereas become the banker, you borrow from it and you do not pay it back later on in life. And it is never considered income because it is truly a loan that your life insurance pays back upon your death. So that's the big difference. It's always going to be tax-free if you do it right. So I want to introduce our common man, and this is a segment we call Common Men, people who listen, want to come in and say hi. We ran into Ian Heinich, and I said, you know what, you got to come on the show. He's an MMA fighter. Now, whether you're an MMA fight fan or not doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that you've ever had a struggle in your life or a challenge. So, Ian, welcome to the show, bro.
Hey, how's it going, Tom?
I want to talk to you about the beginning. You were a problem.
Yeah.
You were always in trouble.
Always.
Why?
I don't know. It started in school, just getting in trouble, getting pulled out, getting homeschooled, and eventually I got kicked out of high school.
And were you ever in trouble with the law?
Yes.
Like when you were younger?
Yeah, consistently.
17, 18, 19, we're talking?
Yeah, I think I got my first DUI when I was 17. I had like a bunch of MIPs, and I just was the attitude.
That's minor in possession of alcohol, yes?
Yeah, and I just had the attitude, I'm not going to court, I'm not dealing with it.
So you wouldn't even show up for court?
No.
So you were just a bad guy. I mean, I don't mean necessarily, you know what I mean, you didn't care.
I didn't care. Yeah.
Right. Did you have parenting?
Yes, yeah, I did. I just kind of had an attitude. I just had, for something with authority, I hated it. I don't know why. I just rebelled against it.
Did you ever go to jail?
Yeah. I mean, I did,
Here first?
Yeah, here first.
What happened?
Just did like 10 days. Eventually they got me, and I said I don't want to do probation. I can't comply with the terms, and they gave me like a 10-day sentence. It was super light because I did have a good family.
Yeah, and then what?
And then after that, I went off to college. I got expelled my senior year. I ended up just going to senior nationals. I had a girlfriend who believed in me when no one else did, and she had the money to fund it. We went to Virginia. I took 4th in the country.
For what?
Wrestling.
Okay.
And that was huge because the 3 guys in front of me were already signed to colleges, D1 colleges. I got an offer to Boston University, $50,000 a year, full ride scholarship.
Did you go?
No, they found out I got expelled, so they were like, yeah, you can go to a junior college. So then after that, I shopped around with junior colleges, free trips out to these colleges, and I eventually picked Northern Idaho.
And then what?
I went out there, they gave me money in a bank account, they paid for my apartment, paid for my school, and paid for my books, and I pretty much just blew all the money on alcohol and partying, and didn't go to class, and just wrestled, and I was like, I like to compete, but I don't like school.
So, did you get kicked out?
I left. My parents got divorced, and it was a big thing. They kind of lost their house. We used to have a big house, 10 acres in Parker, Colorado, and
so you were on your own.
Yeah.
You were kicked out of school, or you left.
Yeah.
You didn't have money. You didn't have anything. Then what did you do?
So then the police just kept trying to show up to my house. I had these open warrants, and I was just sick of it. And this girl said, come out to Canada and come to prom with me in Vancouver. I'll fly you out. And I said, okay.
So you went to Canada?
I went to Canada.
Then what?
And then, so I get to Canada, and I loved Canada. It was amazing. It was like a dream come true. I got this job doing door-to-door sales, and I was making $2 to $4 grand a week.
And then what?
And then I met this girl. I actually knocked on her door. Went home with her that day. Her ex-husband came home. I pretty much threw down with him, whooped his ass, threw him down the stairs. I moved in with her 10 days later. She was 37, I was 19, and about 4 months later, he did some research on me, found I was working there illegally. Immigration came, took me in, and put me in jail for 4 days.
Then what?
So then I had a court hearing. She showed up to court. She paid $5,000 cash to bail me out. She bailed me out, and she found out that I was seeing the other girl that brought me out there originally. They were talking, and so she tried saying she hooked up with her ex-boyfriend's friend when I was there, and I was drinking tequila.
So you were cheating, you were drinking, you were lying. Okay, then what? Then how'd you end up in Spain?
So then I pretty much, she told me she slept with some guy, her ex-husband's friend. I lost my mind. I put holes in her wall. She freaked out. She had me in full mount in the morning, was pounding on me. I had no clue what was going on. I just pushed her off, grabbed her few $1,000 bottle of wine, took off running down the street towards the beach. Cops came, this huge fight. Pretty much they whooped my ass.
Then what did they do? Put you in jail?
They put me back in jail. I pleaded to get out. The judge said, I was on the front page of the Vancouver Sun.
Yeah.
For this story, and I mean, I was taking Xanax too, so I was just out of my mind, and I pretty much I wanted to stay there. She said, "No way, you're a danger to society in Canada."
So from Canada, where'd you go?
They deported me.
To where?
I stayed in jail 6 months, then they deported me back here.
And then what you did?
And then I was here. I had no money. My parents were divorced, and I was used to making really good money, and I was used to my parents having money. So I met some Guatemalan connections, so they started sending me shipments of ecstasy.
And you were dealing drugs.
And I was dealing drugs.
All right. So we're gonna continue this. Lord, no. You've never heard of a bad guy like this. No. I'm going to tell you that this is.
And this was all last week.
Let me say something else. Right now, this guy is rock solid. So let's just get right there. But here's what I want to tell you. What he just told you was Disney World. That his life was Disneyland compared to what happened afterwards. This was the easy part of his life. I'm telling you, what he just told you was the best part of his life until now.
That's true.
But what happened in between then and now, you won't believe.
So we left off at the ecstasy.
Oh, yeah. He was a drug dealer, a liar, a cheater, a carouser. I mean, I'm telling you, the man, this shows that anyone in the world, I swear to you, can change. And change.
Right.
Change isn't even the word. Transform. Yes, it's like he died and was resurrected.
Don't tell me he transitioned, too.
No. He was always a guy, and he still is, okay? So that's not what I'm talking about. I want to talk about stem cell therapy. God knows he probably needed it with all his injuries. If you want to do stem cell therapy, and I'm serious about this, please do not go to places that tout they have stem cell therapy and ship in these amniotic fluids. Now, they have some limited benefit, but to get real stem cells, you have to have them harvested from yourself. Now, some doctors do it from fat. Centeno Schultz does it from bone marrow, and you need to have them harvested and then done right there in the office with guided injections and MDs. Insist on doctors, insist on real living stem cells, insist on Centeno Schultz. Call them. They have a 14,000 patient database to draw from. They've been doing it the longest in the country. 303-963-9201. If you have a bad shoulder, back, hips, knees, hands, he has them all, by the way. He's been injured more than you'll ever want to know. You'll hear about that, too. Go to Centeno Schultz. They can actually fix most ACL tears with a needle instead of a knife. 303-963-9201. 303-963-9201.
This report is brought to you by Panera Bread.
Troubles on the drive downtown. Still that wreck being cleared. Northbound I-25 at 6th Avenue. Backups to Santa Fe at this time. Southbound I-25 slow south of the I-70 interchange traveling around the stadium curve. Watch out for slow speeds on eastbound C-470 approaching Colorado. Looks like a stall there. Has traffic backed up mildly on that stretch. And off-highway, look out for a wreck on the southbound side of Santa Fe approaching Dartmouth. The weather forecast, mostly sunny and mild today. Enjoy it while you can. A high of 61 tonight. A chance of snow overnight with a low of 21. Right now, partly cloudy in Denver and 55. With your traffic and weather, I'm Pete Wagner. 630 KHOW.
Family and friends will like whatever you get them this holiday. But why not get them something they'll love? A Panera Bread gift card. For every $50 in gift cards purchased, get a $10 bonus card for yourself. Visit your local bakery cafe for more details.
Let's talk about John Fuller. He is an attorney at law on my referral list at referralist.com, and he is a personal injury attorney. If you've been hurt in an automobile accident or in any other way and you're wondering, is this what I have to look forward to? Missing work, pain, missing vacations, not being able to do stuff around the house, and who pays? Well, if it's someone else's fault, they should pay. That's the way the system works. Now, you may think, I don't want to sue, I don't want to go through all of that. You know, John Fuller is someone you should talk to. It's free of charge. It's complimentary. If he takes the case, it's only payable if he wins, and it's a small percentage of what he collects. If someone is irresponsible, if someone is negligent, they should pay. That's what it's all about. Why should you be the one to suffer? Don't feel guilty. What you need, the services of someone competent like John Fuller, who knows all the areas of law involved. 303-597-4500. 597-4500 on my referral list at referralist.com.
Take the stress out of holiday shopping with Colorado Rockies gift cards. They can be used for Rockies tickets, merchandise, and concessions, so it's the perfect choice for any Rockies fan in your life. Give the gift of Rockies baseball this holiday season by going to Rockies.com/giftcard today.
This is Peter Berg of the Berg Simpson Law Firm. The holidays are a special time for us to be with family and friends. It's our pleasure to take a moment and wish your family and friends the happiest of holidays from all of us at the Berg Simpson Law Firm.
It's unusual to do commercials about this because if you're an addict, you're not going to listen. I hope you would. Meanwhile, this commercial is mainly aimed at family because usually it's the family and loved ones who...
I don't know what more than what's good. I just know that the dedication. They hit the ground hard.
When I was training in a helicopter, if it was a calm day, I didn't do it. I insisted on winning. So I trained 14 to 31 hours all day. So when it was calm, I was slow.
It was like cross-wind landing on airplanes. You can't cross-wind landing airplanes by flight. If you get to somewhere, it has to do it sometime. I don't know. I have you mean. I've flown two the little Robinson, an R-22 and a 44. I've flown, but I don't know way I can cover. Hell, I can't even get close.
Most pilots, if you put them in a seat, you can fly it.
Yeah.
If they go straight, they can't slow down.
Yeah, that's what I. Well, I could. Once I got here, I was all over kind of how I just fly all over the sky.
Look at this 5-year-old.
It's like balancing on a beach ball.
Well, no, he got shot in the face in Chicago.
Who did a 5?
Then he got shot in the head last week. A 5-year-old.
A teenager got shot in the head. Somebody walked up and shot him.
Wrong guy. Oh, Chicago's just like a war zone.
It's a slaughterhouse.
I thought Trump was going to send in like the National Guard. Does the governor call for it?
Not so much the governor, but the mayor and stuff.
Yeah, it was because, they said we want to man your own. Wow, what a deal. And the marriage was like big deal. What an embarrassment. They have that city. It's all nobody wants to get their work on McDonald's. No.
Someone shot like every hour, every 3 hours. That's pretty amazing.
I heard how much more dangerous it was to be in Chicago than Afghanistan. You're younger and healthy.
Mornings 5 to 10. Christian Soto is entertaining non-leftist media critics Tuesday, Thursday morning, and I'll ask him and you, if you could ban one Christmas movie, what would it be? Let's talk Thursday morning at 7:36 here on 630 KHOW. You gotta fight!
Yeah, Drew picked the music.
Hey, Tom Martino here. Welcome. Hey, listen, I want to sum up this story. I promise you I will get to your phone calls, but this story is really important. We also have becomethebanker.org in the house. You can go there to find out more, or becomethebanker.info, and we'll give out a phone number for them. That is a great investment. This is a cool show. Ian Heinich is an MMA fighter. He started out in Parker, Colorado as a kid. He was a troublemaker, a drug dealer, a liar, a cheater, and he got into trouble all the time. In his heart, he knew he was doing wrong, though, and he didn't want to, but he kept doing it. Eventually, he ends up in Canada, gets in trouble with the law, and they deport him. He gets back to the United States, and he starts dealing ecstasy through Guatemalans. Now, how old were you when you started dealing ecstasy?
So I was about 19, and now, I'm linked up with the cartel, and I mean, I'm starting to move serious weight. Like, I'm making good money, and didn't last very long, though. I mean, as fast as I was making it, I was blowing it, and, we were sending it back there, Western Union, and I kicked myself in the butt now because they wanted me to buy Bitcoin. And obviously everyone knows how that went.
Right.
If I would have.
So what happened after that?
So I was set up in a Walmart parking lot. This girl that was actually hooking up with my brother for 3 months, and she just kept asking, I need 1,000 pills, this and that, and I'm like ignoring her. And then eventually I was just like, okay, if you drive, we'll go. Went in the Walmart parking lot. This Hispanic guy gets in, and he's super sketch, and I can just tell he doesn't have enough money.
Were they narcs? I mean, did they arrest you?
Yeah, so I said, go through the McDonald's drive-thru because I knew something was suspicious. She pulls out her car. A car smashes her from behind and in the front, like hard. And then next thing you know, I have a gun to my head. I'm on the pavement, and I'm arrested there. Yes, it was a setup. It was a sting. I don't know who.
So you got arrested. What happened then?
I got arrested. I bailed out the next day, and they completely trashed my grandma's condo that we were doing it. She lives in New York.
Yeah.
She has a condo out here. And they took, like, I don't know, 30,000 cash. They found a few thousand more pills. They took all kinds of stuff. But there was one slipper that had some money. I owed someone like $2,500, and they didn't find that. That was the only thing they didn't find. So I used that money. I went and got a passport issued to me. They issued me a passport on bail, which is incredible. And then I hopped on a Greyhound. I went to New York, or I went to Indiana, said goodbye to my family. I went to New York. I said goodbye. I hopped on a plane, JFK to Amsterdam, with about $2,000 in my pocket. Didn't know anyone. And it was always my dream to backpack Europe, and this was kind of like the big push to go. So I was a fugitive on the run, and it lasted about 5 months in Amsterdam. I just blew my money immediately, and I had problems. I had to find something to do. I was living out of hostels. I had a tent with me. Sometimes I had to pitch it at a park. And my cousin had a friend in Belgium. He said, go down to Belgium. You can stay there for a little bit, and you can find a job. So I went down to Belgium. I got a job at an Irish pub. That worked successfully for a while. Then this crazy English guy came, and we ended up, pretty much they left us alone at the pub, and we, in a big group of bachelorette hen party of English girls came in. You got in trouble? Yeah, we were drinking behind the bar. I mean, it was bad. And the boss fired us both. We got our money. We hopped on. The English guy said, come to England, mate. We can get some jobs here.
And you went to England?
So I didn't know his idea of a job was painting this apartment that we also lived in, and there was no carpet, no hot water, no furniture. We just camped on the floor of this apartment.
Okay.
Eventually, we got a job at a bar. He was super crazy. He tried to pretty much rob the safe there, and I was like, I don't really know this guy. I'm sorry. I stayed there for a little while. I hated the weather in England. I ended up moving to the Canary Islands in Spain. They said they speak English there. There's good weather. And so I moved down there. About 3 months of working at a club being a PR, I was just drinking all night. They would give us 8 drinks when we work, 4 drinks when we get off work. So it just turned into a full-blown alcoholic, as if I already wasn't one.
Okay.
And I was pretty much homeless there. And there was an American there. He was from Cuba, but he was born in Miami. And they took me in like family, and they still are like family. These guys took me in. They said, Gringo, let's get you sober. Let's, you know.
And then what?
And then they said, Gringo, let's go make some real money. And I said, well,
doing what?
They said, let's go to Colombia and bring back some merchandise.
To Spain?
To Spain.
So you got into the drug smuggling business from Colombia to Spain?
Yeah, well, we would go from Colombia to Spain, Mexico to Spain, Venezuela to Spain, Aruba.
We're going to talk about this more coming up. If you're doing your kitchen, you're going to love these guys. I love the Art of Granite because they're big and small. What I mean by big and small, they...
Pretty well. Jesus, brother.
I got some emails too on him. I got to ask him, Joe. Okay. This guy that's got Subaru with 189,000. Yeah. He's also got 2 other vehicles that he bought that he broken in shops.
No subcontract.
Who? This guy named Andrew the call.
I thought he said it was his first car.
I'm not feeling
first
yeah,
car.
no,
You got a call or something?
What's the matter? I always talk about it. Durango. And I have to fly this afternoon. I had 2 charity ones. Oh, wow. But I have a backup about it all the time. I won't do it. If I'm not feeling 100%, I won't do it. Not much you can do to help. How Stephanie doing? What I do is I call people. They're talking about like $6,000. Good. I got to do it. $4,000 car. Well, you know, if you go to a wrecking yard and buy an engine for $100,000, sorry, $100,000, I would still get a notion for generally about $50 yard. It's a wrecking yard. They'll give you a warranty. Yeah, they'll give you a 30-day warranty. Wow. It was my birthday. For a couple of thousand, those get going. Really, put 6,000.
Seriously, that was a good time. Moments ago, after a few changes in the
DT is full of crap.
now,
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, totally.
John Decker is on the White House.
Giving out his phone number, and then when you text me, that's
Yeah, seriously.
Right?
Well, that's why I sent him like my business card, my phone number, as my picture.
We got Mitch coming over today.
So he's like, and I grabbed his phone and I put save.
Yeah.
So now when I tell
He's cutting in a new
oh, yeah, I remember that.
Okay, yeah.
burner for us.
That's why you got to do that.
Oh, for your soul.
When you're networking.
It's not
But
putting
make up factory accident.
It's not an oven.
But like, look.
It's a piece of furniture.
And the gas line? Now he's putting in a new burner going on. What do you call those?
Fireplace?
No, just the gas thing you cook on. What is that called?
Oh, yeah.
Burner.
The stove top, the range top.
A stove is a one unit, generally with an oven in the top. No, it's not a stove. Cooktop. Cooktop. Thank you. Cooktop.
Well,
Not a stove.
yeah, so that comes up automatically.
A stove with half an oven.
One, I share
Stove is half oven.
Oh, yeah.
Half top.
I could say.
It's half stove and half V. Oven.
You know, I've got one from 1936, that cabin. It's got an oven, and it's got a bun warmer thing, on the bottom of it, and another thing in there, plus the cooking trees. It's really pretty clever, that it's gas. I think this is better than the barn rack. No, I don't see that.
We don't eat bread.
So we don't have bun warmer.
Eat bread.
Bread may kill you.
Gluten will kill you, not bread.
No, bread will fucking kill you.
You haven't
Bread
heard,
is the same
Because
thing.
it has gluten.
There's no difference between eating wheat bread and a
You
bowl
don't
of
want to get
fucking
into
sugar.
You don't want to get into the eating thing.
Well, actually, we can. We don't mind getting into the eating thing with these guys. Yeah.
we don't eat.
So that's,
Yeah, just don't eat.
The best thing you can do is not eat.
Obviously.
Oh, I don't think so.
That's how you know
A
you're
real
eating.
restricted calorie would
That
be
is
good.
negative. But not eating though is like
High fat, low carbs. Eat 6
Fasting's the best thing you
There
can
you
do.
go. There you go.
But not all the
You know it. That's right.
High
Once a
fat,
day.
low carbs, no
Once a day.
sugar. That's right. If you eat fruit, so use fruit as your sugar.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah, but fruit's not
fructose is as bad as glucose.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is the sugar diabetes monitors only measure glucose, so that these assholes tell diabetics if you take fructose, it won't measure sugar because when they test their sugar, it doesn't register. They're killing themselves.
Is that why
They're going
people
into
are-
fucking
we were
comas.
arguing about the sugar
They're
the
going
other
into
day.
comas because it's not measuring fructose. It's only measuring glucose. But they're killing themselves because they're still they don't have insulin to fight it. I mean, it's just amazing to me the stupidity there is.
Well, and
Fucking Dr. Oz actually told someone that, well, if you eat sugar, I can prove, if you eat fruit, I can prove it doesn't raise your blood sugar and test with a glucose monitor. But it's not glucose you're measuring. It would be fructose. And it's amazing that people are, oh my God, agave didn't raise, whatever what it was, it didn't raise my, but it's killing you all the same.
But it's crazy because even like they're killing us here. Like if you look at a Coca-Cola here, it has like high fructose corn syrup, phosphoric acid. But if you look at it in Mexico, it has cane sugar.
Yeah, but it's still exactly the same. It really is. No, it really is. Honest to God,
here's glucose instead of
chemically, your body doesn't know the difference. It really doesn't. I know it sounds better if it's cane sugar as opposed to raw syrup, but your body doesn't know. This doesn't know.
But I mean, as far as an athlete like me, I need sugar, like because I
No, you
burn it. No sugar.
You don't need sugar.
I don't need any fruit.
I can prove it to you. You don't.
Where am I going to get my vitamins?
Honey.
I'll talk to you about it. I swear to God.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
I love
really,
talking about this.
you understand
Yeah.
we're meant to burn fat, right?
Yeah.
Fat
Oh, yeah.
gives you energy.
Fat makes you lose weight and gives you energy.
Right, yeah, that's why we have a fat store. We don't have a sugar store. We have a fat store.
Yeah.
Our body doesn't store sugar.
No.
So why would we run on sugar? It doesn't store sugar. When God created us, He gave us fat to store, not sugar. Now, fat has to be converted, but here's the deal. Sugar is good for bursts of energy, and obviously, but you get enough sugar, what's called passive. You don't have to seek it out. You don't have to.
But eating an apple a day is not bad.
Well, let's put it this way. Eating an apple a day will not kill you as badly as eating 6 apples a
I'm
day.
consumer advocate Tom Martino for tax relief.
I mean, really.
There's got to be a balance, though.
I mean,
a little bit.
Actually, hold on. A balanced diet is the worst thing you can do to yourself.
Why?
Because we're not meant to have a balanced diet. We are absolutely not meant to have a balanced diet.
Our
body does not process a balanced diet. If you have a balanced diet and mix fat with sugars, with proteins, with all that, that's why our gut is crazy. That's why our health is going to hell, because of that so-called balanced diet. We are meant to have fat, to burn fat, and to have protein. That's it. That's what we're meant to have. There is no essential carbohydrate in the world. There are essential proteins. There are essential fats. What is an essential protein? There is not one named in science. Not one. Because the body can exist without it. Absolutely. It's science. See, here's the deal. Our eating has become political. Oh, fruit, because it sounds good. You know, nuts and berries. Well, nuts and berries are actually good for you. But they are good for you. But berries are good fruit.
Troubleshooter.
Help me if you can, I'm feeling down.
Hey, I'm Tom Martino. Welcome to the only show of its kind anywhere in the universe this hour. Brought to you by Plumline Services. If you're looking for quality plumbing, heating, cooling, electric, and drains, Plumline Services. You can call them right now for a $29 furnace check, and if you need a furnace, they'll tell you. If you don't, they will not try to sell you one. They are good, honest people that simply want to make sure you're ready for the cold weather this weekend. Call them for a furnace check, or for their famous find, fix, or free electrical service for $149. That means if they have a problem, they guarantee to fix it with parts for $149. With parts, or it's free. That means if it's a major problem, it won't cost you anything, but they'll give you a full written report. Plumline Services, 303-586-1086. 303-586-1086, plumlineservices.com. All right, Mark has a question for Become the Banker. We've been talking about this investment strategy on the show on and again, and I have Joseph Chiano and his son with us who do this as a living, becomethebanker.org, and we're taking questions. If you want to know about it, rather than me recapping it every time we do it, if you go to becomethebanker.info, there is a very short video that explains the whole thing. But what is your question, Mark?
Hi, Joe. It's Mark down here in Pagosa Springs. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing fine, Mark. Good to hear from you.
What's going on, man?
Oh, well, I had some questions about the interest rates. I mean, you say they're about 5% on a loan.
What are you talking about? 5% on a loan? You mean what you charge yourself?
No, what the life insurance company.
Okay, if you borrow, let's talk about that. We talk about building up this cash fund on your life insurance that grows tax-free. And it grows tax-free at a guaranteed 4% plus dividends. And if you want to borrow from it, we always talk about paying yourself back with interest. But what about the interest you pay to the insurance company for borrowing that money? Because it's safe to say that if you borrow 10 or 20 or 30,000 for college or for a car, and you pay yourself back, that 10 or 20 or 30 does not come out of your insurance. Your insurance still is earning money.
That is right, Don.
But you are paying interest for that loan, not just to yourself, but also to the insurance company.
That is correct.
So how does that work?
Okay, see, the company, what they do with a policy loan, Mark, they're actually doing an investment. Okay, they have money to invest. So they're making money accessible to you, and they have to make money.
Right. So what do they do?
So the insurance company will charge you 4.76%.
Okay.
And that's simple interest, though. Okay, simple interest. Big difference between simple and compound interest.
Okay, so they're paying you, when you take out a loan, you're paying them 4.7%.
Yes.
But your money is still earning 4%.
That is correct.
So the effective cost is 0.7.
Yeah, or zero. Because see, the dividends today are 1%.
You're right. Or zero. But then the money you pay yourself above that 4% goes into your cash account.
You got it right.
Okay. So do you understand that, Mark?
Well, yeah, and I get that. Now, the 4.76%, does that go up and down when they change the rates, like the Fed change the rates?
You know what? It's a variable rate, but I haven't seen it change for the last 20 years.
Okay. So
hold on, Jordan. Yeah, and Mark, I just want to bring something in here. You know, that's for the first year. The second year, they do carry it up to 5%, and it stays at 5% thereafter. So if that's what you're talking about when you're talking about 5%.
So when you take a loan out, you're paying the insurance company 4.7 to 5%.
Yep.
Then your policy is still earning the 4% plus dividend
on the entire amount.
So it's kind of a wash, kind of. So then you add to that money to pay yourself back, that extra.
Absolutely.
So you always have a net gain of cash value when you borrow from yourself. Even though you're paying interest, you have a net gain to yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, I have some emails, but I want to get back to our story. And again, I promise you I will take your calls or we will help you. But we have this guest in, Ian, an MMA fighter. And how did he get there? And where is he today? We'll talk about that. But he started out as a high school wrestler in Parker. He got into drugs and alcohol. He got into crime and left for Canada. From Canada, he was deported after getting into trouble and came back to the U.S. Then he got into trouble again and went to Europe. And after traipsing around Europe, ended up in England, got in trouble again. And these all had to do with drugs and dealing drugs. And then he went to the Canary Islands. At the Canary Islands, he meets up with a guy who says, let's move some real stuff. And he gets into heavy-duty drug smuggling in the Canary Islands. Where were you smuggling drugs?
So we would go down to Colombia, Venezuela, Mexico, and we were...
Were you ever afraid of getting killed?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there was some very sketchy times. Like, I would be there when the deal would go down. They'd be like, they'd think I was like DEA or something, and it's this huge argument. There was some really close calls.
Did you ever get in fights?
No, because they don't really fight down there.
Did you carry Did you carry armor?
The people I was with did.
Okay,
yeah.
So then you're smuggling drugs. That's a heavy duty thing. How were you smuggling them?
We would get a few kilos and we would wrap it up and swallow it.
Swallow it.
Yeah, and then we'd take it back, and I mean, you're turning $1,200 into $100,000.
And then what? So you're at the Canary Islands. Were you distributing in the Canary Islands or in Spain?
In the Canary Islands is owned by Spain.
Right, but did you go to Spain proper?
No, we would just pass through Madrid or Barcelona to go to the Canary Islands. So we were distributing and living in the Canary Islands.
Okay.
And we were picking it up in South America.
So everything's great. You're a drug smuggler living in the Canary Islands. Getting high? Were you getting high?
Yeah, we were partying.
Stoned? Drunk?
Yeah.
Everything?
Yeah.
Women? What happened?
Yeah, so we would go down there and we would stay for about a month. In the first 2 weeks, we would just party like crazy. In the second 2 weeks, we'd start hitting the gym and eating good food just to prepare our stomachs for what was going to happen. In the beginning, I was just bringing it for another guy, and then I would save my own money and I'd bring it for me. That's when I started making some good money. But as fast as I was making it, I was spending it.
How much were you making?
It would just depend. If I would bring like a quarter kilo for me, it would be like 20 to 30,000 or
each time.
Yeah, and it would just depend. I could sell it all at once for cheaper, or I could piece it out, but I'd end up doing it.
Okay, so did you get caught?
Yeah, so about the 14th trip, so I got X-rayed a few times, and they in the Bogota airport in the capital of Colombia, and I probably turned pale white, but I was trying to play it cool. They took me in this room with a few other thug-looking guys and like this gorgeous girl, and they put us through the X-ray, but these guys told me there was a special paper on there, and I didn't know if it was a lie or not, but I remember going in there, standing there in this big room, going back and forth on a treadmill type thing, coming out and them saying, "Have a good day, Mr. Heinisch." And that was one of the most adrenaline rushes I've ever had, because I was like thinking in my head, I'm like, 3 to 6 years in a Colombian prison, they're going to kill me in there, and I was like, I'm going to die.
So what happened eventually? You got caught?
So yeah, so about the 16th trip, I got pulled aside in Spain for the first time, or I've been pulled in the office, and they said, "What do you keep doing coming back here?" And I said, "Oh, I'm just a rich American and I have a girlfriend here." My girlfriend came around. She was an Italian girl. She came in and she verified that I was with her, and they said, "Well, where's your credit cards?" And I was like, "No, and I pulled out like 5,000 cash, and they're like, "Well, what happens when that runs out?" And I said, "Well, we use Western Union." So rich people don't do it that way, so that was a huge red flag. So we walked down to the car, they let us go, and then the Colombian guy met up with us, and it was a whole drug task force, jumped on us, took us to a hospital instead of the X-ray inside the prison, or I mean inside the airport, because it was outdated, and I thought I was going to pass. I was talking smack. I was very confident because I've already passed 3 x-rays before this. And they pulled me in a room. A cute Spanish girl said, "You have drug in your intestines. What is it?" And I was denying it, and I said I ate Chinese food. They laughed. They threw the handcuffs on, and I was thrown in jail for 3 days, and I got a 3.5-year sentence.
To where?
In Spain. But I sat for a 1.5 years without any court date, anything. So they just threw me in there. And that's when I learned Spanish. I finally got my head clear. They had a wrestling program called Lucha Canaria. I got very involved in that. I actually was in the newspaper twice because I beat a professional team.
Was it hard in prison? Were there badasses in there trying to get to you?
Yeah, there was badasses, but my buddy from America was the biggest badass, Blair Holtum. He's still there.
And he helped you?
Oh, man. Me and him teamed up, and they actually moved us apart because we were just...
Did you go through rough times in prison?
We went through rough times. I mean, it was times...
What got you through it?
So many things did, but, you know, I sobered up. I started training full-time. I found God in there, and I was so lost, and I was found in there, and that pretty much saved me. I mean, I was literally in isolation for about a month when I found God. I started reading the Bible in Spanish. I hit my knees. I was losing my mind. I was in tears. I started reading in Spanish the Bible, which is a very hard text to read, and a flame ignited in my chest. It was the Holy Spirit, and I was forever changed from that moment.
And what happened after that? You were still in jail, though.
Yeah, so I got transferred. So we beat a professional team of Lucha Canaria, me and this other American. The president of the federation sent the warden a letter to keep us there because they wanted to sign us because these people made money on the streets. I thought this was a possible career for me. But then the warden didn't like that idea. He condemned me to the north of Spain. They had a boxing program there. I fought 6 times inside the prison, just like the movies.
And they would bet on you and make money on you.
Yes. They would bet, they would make money, and it was an incredible experience. I learned Spanish fluent. I went to school. I went to church. I trained physically, mentally, and spiritually every day. That was my goal every day.
So what happened then? How did you end up back in America?
So then,
in that other part of your life.
So finally, I did 2 years and 4 months in the Spanish prison. They gave me a deal. They said, sign this paper. You cannot come back to Europe for 5 years. And I signed that paper. They extradited me from Madrid into JFK. Right when I landed in JFK, I was a free man. I was a free man on the plane. And right when I landed there, I scanned my passport. Boom, my warrants came up from the prior thing in Denver. I was put in Rikers Island for 3 months.
Now, Rikers Island has to be the most violent, rough prison in the world.
Yeah, that was the hardest part of the whole trip.
All right, we're going to take a break. He ends up in Rikers Island. Rikers Island is literally an island in New York on the Hudson, and it's the bar none. I mean, we're talking. You know, you have black gangs, Puerto Rican gangs. You have every nationality every ethnic group has their gang, and they literally have a social structure in there, and the guards let them do it, right?
Yeah.
They truly run the prison, the inmates.
They do.
Okay, we're going to talk about that. He was in Rikers Island. Now, this is after getting straight. This is after reforming himself. Now he is in Rikers. They didn't care that he transformed. They had him in Rikers. We'll talk about that coming up. Listen, if you are thinking about drinking this holiday season, get a designated driver or use Uber or use Lyft. Please don't try to calculate it. So many people end up trying to calculate, and they end up calling Joe Lazzara, a criminal defense attorney. If you think you're innocent, if you think you've been falsely accused, if you think you're guilty and you just need to get through the system, whatever it is, Joseph A. Lazzara can help you. But the best help is prevention. But there's still some of you that will end up in a very, very weird situation. Joseph A. Lazzara, attorney at law, 303-429-6200. Listen, Joe gets calls from housewives who had a few drinks and thought they were fine, and they end up being thrown in jail because they didn't calculate properly. 303-429-6200. Joseph A. Lazzara. You got my message. Zero Res is a 1-minute tape.
downtown. I know.
Ian.
Yeah.
Were they in balloons or condoms or what?
Balloons. I mean, we had a really good way to
That list you provided me and Drew had 0 res on it, that's why we thought we could switch it out.
We
Second
reviewed,
thing is, you said you downloaded those forms, so you have them to print out. Do you? Well, I just wanted to print them out and start filling it. Do I have to fill them out?
Why she send them?
Oh, yeah. Cut it off.
Okay.
Cut it, drop
Okay,
it.
because at first you were like, I downloaded them, and then I saw username and password.
Yeah, I have time to do it. I'll do it. But I don't know about you. I don't know. I'll just hear it. I don't know what they are.
I think it's to change my administrative role.
Movie or something?
No, it's ready to come out. And you actually have to take a pill to not let it go in. I mean, we're talking 24 hours. It's a 12-hour flight from Columbia. And then we have a layover, then another 3-hour flight to Canary Islands. And then you have to go up. Then an hour drive. Yeah, and then you tie the handkerchief on. But they have bidets, so we used to like wash it in that with bleach. And then you turn 1 kilo into 2 kilos, and then you sell 36,000 euros each. Yeah. The Colombians get something from the pharmacy. It's like for your stomach. It has no scent, flavor. It's just a white powder. And then you turn 1 into 2. You mix it together. It's still better quality than they've ever had. And then you can sell it 36,000 each, which is like 100 grand American. Or you can piece it up, which I used to do, keep like 100 grams in the house and then sell 100 euros to a tourist. And the next thing you know, you're coming home drunk from the club, and then you're like, oh, let's get high. And then you're just
the Rolling Stones, the real skinny guy that's the lead guitar guy in Rolling Stones, Keith Richards. It was in Men's Health magazine a couple years ago. He's been a heroin addict since 14.
Well, he's not anymore.
No, he's still in.
He admits that.
Yeah, that's what the article was about. He's still a heroin addict.
But he does heroin, or he does like...
How did he live that long?
Well, what the whole article was about, the fact that because he gets medical grade heroin, it wasn't nearly as harmful as what they cut him with.
So wait, he pays a doctor to stay on
I don't know
heroin?
where he did. They were just saying it was medical grade.
Well, that's what they do. They give people Suboxone or methadone, which is it's synthetic heroin.
Yeah.
And they accept you because it doesn't make you want more and more, but you
Well, it
eat
doesn't
your
make
dose
you, well,
every
well,
day.
methadone makes you high, but the other one doesn't. Doesn't make you high.
It's bad, man. I broke a guy's leg and a guy's arm in the prison that were on that stuff because it hollows your bones out. And they're on the wrestling team, and I just snapped their arm like nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. Like
I've heard addicts say that it was easier to get off heroin than to get off methadone.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, but that's why they went. I've helped so many freaking addicts on this show. I mean, I've walked them through everything. I'm helping one right now. We're texting. That's why they ended methadone. Suboxone is nothing like it. Suboxone has absolutely none of those qualities of methadone. It doesn't make you high. It can't be shot. It can't be melted. And in fact, it makes you sick if you take a drug. It's completely different.
But it's still terrible.
Well, it is absolutely inert. It's inert. It doesn't do anything to you except keeps your morphine your opiate receptors clear. It pushes things off and it doesn't allow you to attach anything, which means you can't get.
But the cookies were great.
If you took a painkiller while you're doing it, it will reject it and make you sick. That's why it's way better. Methadone went to your
I know what you're talking about.
and you need it more and more and more and more.
I don't know.
Suboxone does not grow resistance. It doesn't make you take more and more and more. It doesn't make you high. And they can wean you off it in films. They can wean you off it easier. Methadone got you hooked more than heroin. All the reason they did methadone more is because it could be synthesized. They didn't have to deal with the South Americans to get it. And American labs could make it, and then you could control it.
Street heroin is dangerous because some of the people have rat poison.
Any street drug.
Yeah.
It's rolling around the bend, and I ain't seen
Hi,
the
Tom Martino
sunshine,
here. Welcome to the show. 303-713-TALK. 713-8255. Listen, if you have an invention or a trademark or something that you want to protect, don't just go telling people about it. Do you know if you start talking about it, it actually a clock starts ticking and you can lose your rights to patent it? That's why you should keep it a secret, and you should call an attorney and get it searched to see if it can be patented. Really, if you start talking about ideas, it can be argued that you lose your rights after a year to patent it. Talk to Mark Trenner, Trenner Law, 720-221-3708. He's live and local, not an internet scam where they take your invention or they take money from you with false promises. 720-221-3708. Mark Trenner, Trenner Law, on my referral list at referralist.com. Dan has a question for Become the Banker. Then we'll go back to our fascinating story, and I will take some other calls, I promise. Go ahead, Dan, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, I got a question on the life insurance policies themselves. What is the minimum amount of life insurance I get, and can I overfund the policy more than what it's worth? And how many policies can I have if...
All good questions. All good questions. Okay, first, what's the minimum amount of life insurance, and can you fund more than you have for life?
Now, Tom, you know, the minimum amount of life insurance depends on the age of the person, number one, and the amount of contributions that they want to put in. And the second part of the question, Dan, you could never overfund it over and above the death benefit amount.
No, because the death benefit amount has to pay back the loans.
That, and also it keeps it tax-free. If the cash exceeds the death benefit, then the government claims that it's not life insurance anymore. It's just any other investment, and they'll tax it like a 401k.
Okay, so as long as you keep that ratio proper, you're fine. Yes?
Exactly. So going into the third part, then, that kind of tailors into that a way to keep the policy tax-free and allowing you to dump more money into another policy is that you just have multiple policies. So your question is, how many can I have? It's really up to the insurance company on how much of a insurable risk they can take on you. And,
Okay.
and we spread it across different
So
insurance companies.
that would be according to health and
like
everything else.
$15 million to $20 million
Okay.
of death benefit.
But here's the deal. If you only want a shelter, let's say you don't make that much money, and you only want to shelter $20,000 a year, let's say, and I say only, I don't mean it like that, but let's say you want to shelter $20,000 a year with it, or you want to shelter, and I say $20,000 a year because you might have a lump sum to put in it, which prorates to $20,000 with your premiums, or you want to shelter a total of $200,000 over your life, or $400,000 or $500,000. That will dictate what the life insurance is, right?
That is correct, Tom. You know, there's a what they call a guideline or corridor from the IRS that the death benefit has to be a certain percentage over the cash.
Dan, they do it exactly opposite of normal life insurance people. Normal life insurance people try to sell you the most amount of life insurance for the least premium. They try to get you a good deal, but they try to sell you a whole bunch of life insurance. Joe works the other way around. He says, how much do you want to accumulate, and then works backwards to get you the least amount of insurance you need to do it with the biggest premium. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what it is. It's to shelter the most amount of money for the least amount of insurance. That's the goal. And there's a formula for each person depending on age and depending on how much they want to shelter. Okay, I'm going to take one problem here quickly, and then I will go back to our story. Sean, go ahead. What is going on with your job? Sean? Sean, what's happening?
How you doing, Tom?
Good. What's going on with your job, man?
Okay, I've been working for this company since 2008. It's a union company.
Okay.
And like after you work a total of 500 hours, you're supposed to move up to 18 an hour. And there's no.
Are they not honoring the bargaining agreement?
Correct.
Did you go to your union rep?
I did.
And what did the union rep say?
They said that they was going to get back to me, but that was 4 weeks ago. And then I called back and I talked to the lady that does the payroll, and she said they don't do back pay. But when I was talking to Dan, one of your representatives, he said that if it's union, they have to pay.
Right. Because it's a bargaining unit.
Right.
But are you sure you're interpreting the contract properly?
Yes.
Dan, did you reach out to his union rep?
No, I didn't, because I wanted him on here
Okay,
before I did
here's
that.
what we should do then, Sean.
Uh-huh.
I want to get your union rep or your union's opinion on this. Because I know that you say, well, at 500 hours I'm supposed to go to 18. I just want to know where that's written. Is that a company policy or is that a union bargaining agreement? If it's a bargaining agreement, they have to pay retro pay and they have to honor it. If it's a company policy, you're not going to like this, but they can wane on company policy. They don't have to follow through, especially if it's a closely owned company. The guy can say, I changed my mind.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I need to know where that policy came from. So, Dan, if you can check with his union, then we'll find out. We have to find out, is it company policy, after so many hours you get this, or you get vacation, or you get this, or is it a collective bargaining arrangement? The problem with company policies, owners can be jerks and change their minds. They really can. And that's the problem. All right. We were talking to Ian Heinisch, and he is an MMA fighter who started out in trouble right out of high school. Dealing drugs, carousing, smoking, drinking, cheating, lying. He admits it. And then he was a womanizer as well. He didn't want to say that, but I know. And then he went from the United States to Canada, where he got into big trouble. Then he starts, drug dealing in the U.S. after that. Then he gets busted. He runs to Europe. He said, I'm not going to court anywhere. He jumps warrants and goes to Europe. He works across Europe, trying to stay out of trouble, but trouble always finds him. In England, trouble found him. He goes to the Canary Islands. Then he hooks up with Brit, and they start dealing drugs. And they start, or was it a Guatemalan? I'm sorry, was it a Guatemalan?
Cuban.
A Cuban.
Yeah.
A Cuban. So he hooks up with a Cuban. And then they start dealing heavy drugs. And he gets arrested, thrown into a Spanish prison where he finds God. He literally turns his life around, trains, becomes a fighter, and becomes physically healthy. He wants to start a new life. He gets out of prison in Spain. He did his time. He leaves. And in New York, they arrest him immediately off the plane and throw him in Rikers Island, the most violent prison in the world. One of them. So what happened?
Yeah, so...
What did you get your butt beat as soon as you walked in?
Well, so no, first they put me in the Jamaica Queens jailhouse for 4 days.
Yeah.
And that was just terrible. It was over the weekend, and they were just like... And I kept asking, why is everyone moving in and out? And I'm still here. They're like, oh, you're a special case. And I mean, it was bad. People were puking, and... it was gross in there, and I was just standing up. It was so crowded. And then eventually I went to court. They said, you have no bail, you have no chance of bail, you're going to Rikers Island. And I didn't even know what Rikers was then, and I was like, well, what's that? And then my lawyer came and met me. They said, you have to go to protective custody. They said, white boys don't go to general population of Rikers Island. And I was like, man, I just did 2 years and 4 months. I was like, throw me with the wolves, I'll lead the pack. Like, I had that kind of attitude. And then I remember getting walked to my cell block, and I didn't know that I was going to be in maximum security because I was a fugitive. So, and this guy's walking me, and the guard says, man, you must be a bad dude. And I said, why? And he said, because I ain't never seen a white boy in this part of the prison. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, or in my mind, I'm like, oh, man. And then, but I told him, I was like, yeah, that's right, I'm a bad dude. And so I got thrown in there, and yeah, immediately they ran in, like, yo, man, we're the Bloods, we run this, like, whatever you need, you come through us, and explaining the rules. And I'm like, I don't want no trouble, I don't want no drugs, I just want to do my time and get out of here. And you never tell them how much time you have to do, because if it's a short amount, they want to keep you there, they want to make more problems for you. I don't know, out of jealousy. So it was rough. Every day was a fight for my life, and they were just treating me terrible. They were taking...
Literally, you had to fight for your life.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you about the last fight. And so first, they were taking me to court every day, which is, pull your pants down, bend over, squat, cough, get thrown in this bus. We're on an island. We got to go to the courthouse and sit in a holding cell for 8 hours, get fed peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which are disgusting.
Why'd you go to court every day?
I don't know.
In case your case came up?
There was no lawyer. There was no court. I would just sit in the cell. They would transport me. 3 days in a row they did this. Finally they came this one day, and I was like, I'm not going. And the leader of the Latin Kings, he goes, no, you're going, man. They're coming with tasers. So I'm like, okay, I'll go. And I became friends with the Latin Kings, which saved my life because I spoke Spanish. I told them what I was doing there and all the stuff I've done, and maybe they thought they could work with me sometime or something.
Yeah.
But it saved me. So eventually I came back after the third court hearing when I did absolutely nothing there, just being shipped around like an animal. And one of the Bloods, the leader, he was like, yo, let me use your phone. And I'm like, no one's using my phone today. And usually we trade for chips or whatever. And he's like, oh, is that so? He goes, meet me in the back. And I thought this dude wanted to fight me because he's big and buff, and he's like told me, he seen me shadowboxing in my cell, and he's like, you think you fight, white boy? We fight for real on the streets. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then so he took me in the back, immediately pulled out a knife, like a disgusting shank, and I learned a few tricks from my American that I was locked up with, and I put my hands up and I got close to him. I was like, man, don't hurt me, man, please. Boom, right on the chin. And it put him down, and all his brothers came running up, and I was just pulled my shirt off. I was like, I'm one, because I seen him stomping out Crips that would come in there, and the guards just look away because they're friends on the street, because Section 8 housing had to become, I don't know if Obama did it or how it worked out, but they had to give them jobs. So the guys without criminal records are working these prisons, but they're
friends with the gang.
They're all friends. They all grew up together.
So they turn their heads, and these guys come after you. What did you do?
So they come running after me, and I just take my shirt off, and I was like, I'm one white boy. Like, are you scared to fight me one-on-one? I was like, let's go against your biggest guy. And they didn't, I mean, that didn't
You challenged.
I challenged
And
them.
what happened?
And then 4 little Puerto Rican guys stood in front of me. I seen knives fall out in their hand, and they said, yo, you mess with white boy, you mess with us. He got heart. He with us.
And so they protected you.
They protected me. Then we went to our cells. And Fingers, the leader of the Latin Kings, because he was missing fingers, he was all cut up from crazy fights, he comes up to me, he goes, yo, man, we like you and all, but we can't protect you anymore. He goes, they got a SOS on you. And I said, what's that?
SOS?
Stab on sight.
All right, hold on. So a death warrant was put out for you?
Yeah.
Okay. How much total time were you at Rikers, total?
I think it was close to, it was either 2 or 3 months.
Okay, hold on. We got more.
And you think you have it bad. Did you ever thought about writing a book?
Yeah, of course. He needs a ghostwriter, though. Most everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, I can help him, or he can meet somebody. But I know some really good ones. You want a ghostwriter that's going to write the story his way.
Yeah.
And they stay in the background.
Yeah.
We had an interview like this with a guy from the last survivor of Pearl Harbor. A ghostwriter called me and said, you give me his name and number, so I did. He had a bestseller in the New York Times.
Wow.
And I kept in touch with the ghostwriter. I was going to put him in touch, but I'm not sure that ghostwriter's hip enough to write this one, because he's more of an older guy, and he writes well, really well, but he writes more like Tom Clancy.
So it's like find the right one.
He writes more like Tom Clancy stuff, really good. He talked about Pearl Harbor like that, but it was more of a...
You got to really know the jailhouse lingo.
Well, I'm not sure if you do. He'll take it from him. Yeah. A good writer, but I'm not sure this is the right writer. I don't know. I don't know.
I had a guy.
I figured once I had this, I would condense it and then.
Like I told Tom, CAA flew me out to Hollywood, Creative Artists Agency. They're the biggest talent agency, one of them in the world, and they wanted to get a ghost. I talked to Matt Del Piano, who's Al Pacino's agent, who did the movie Captain Phillips with Tom Hanks. So he makes real life events into a book, into a movie.
Well, most that want to do that.
And he was really excited to work with me, but CAA was totally just trying to screw me. Like they wanted me to sign right there, and then they wouldn't send me a contract. They wouldn't let my employer review it. Like there was just so many red flags. They wanted me to fire my current manager. It was bad.
But I think you're right, Tom. You know, I had somebody help me write the book, become the banker.
He should stay in control. In other words, he gets a ghostwriter. Then once he has that book, then screenwriters will come to him, and he gets to pick. Then he gets to pick. You don't do the first. If you do it first, you make the least amount of money. What you need to do is stay in control to a certain point. Once the screenplay is done, then he goes, let's produce it. Let him worry about it. That's great.
I've watched a lot of TV stuff. I worked in jail for a while. Deputy. You know, like a kite. You know what it is? You know, people don't know what that term is.
You mean a kite when you're when you need to see a medic, you mean? I mean.
No, like it's like a note.
But that's what they. That's what
but they don't. You don't ever hear any of the real jail lingo that you hear in prisoner jail that should be in the book because it's interesting. I mean, it's just interesting that there's a whole language and a whole culture that goes on.
Yeah, I didn't know about it. So
it
was such a shock. It was so crazy. I went from all Moroccans and Arabic people and Spanish to all blacks and Puerto Ricans to all white boys in Jefferson County, and then I went straight to a yoga festival, and it was all white chicks. Like mind blown.
That was the most fun. But just like the gang culture is just so messed up.
And it's so deep in like California and New York. It's just
and that's why the book.
Like I came in and I was like, "What's up, cuz?" And they're like, "What?" And I was like, "What?" And they're like, "What are you, a Crip?" And I'm like, "No." Because I guess you say cuz. It's like slang for Crip. Yeah, so I was just like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna train.
It was like your book. That part of it, that people are hungry for learning new things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That part of it, the book, would just be fascinating. I've never seen anybody write on TV shows or anything else that really.
That there's all about prisons. They're good shit.
Prison break. Yeah, but they don't really.
No, yes, they do. That one, Orange is the New Black. That is freaking awesome. That was the one you like? Someone told me that is so down spot accurate.
Oz.
Prison.
Oz.
You haven't seen those. Oh my God! No, I'm talking about the new prison dramas. They are so right on.
Getting it down.
Well, there's some reality shows in there. They're reality shows. So you're hearing for real.
It's very similar.
I mean, it's the new stuff is really accurate, good stuff.
Yeah, that's finally.
I mean, Netflix does a great job.
I know. Yeah, I would love to get on.
As far as accuracy,
like
holy shit.
They have some garbage documentaries on Netflix. I would love to get a good one on there. About my story.
Be nice. Go back and revisit those places. Now, you still have a friend in prison?
Yeah.
Is he in for life?
No. He gets out in May.
Did he transform as well?
I'm hoping, man. I said, if you don't drink, man, I will help you as much as I can.
Is he going to come back here?
Yeah.
To where?
He's from Chicago, but he wants to move out here. I'm going to try to get him a job on the oil rigs.
Player, right? As a player.
Yep.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter,
303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Mike, you're having trouble finding a rental in Colorado Springs, is that right, sir?
Oh, definitely having trouble. But what got my goat this morning was these rental management companies that have kind of taken over everything.
Well,
they don't even need to rent their
You're
home.
right. And you have to pay like a $50 fee just to apply.
Oh, per person.
And they know that there's nothing available, and they still collect the money.
Well, there was supposedly one available. I was working in Breckenridge, so my fiance went and looked at it. Everything was good. She filled him in on everything that went on with us, and gave him the money. Filled out the rental app for me. They called me that same evening, said, okay, you got a soft approval. Now we need applications for everybody else that's going to live in the house.
Well, I mean, you got to somewhat understand why.
Well, yeah. And so she went and did that, gave them the money.
Okay.
Said, we'll get right back to you.
And now they say it's not available.
No, they never called the landlord, my previous landlord of 5 years. They never called him. They never called any of my
You may not even be talking to a real management company. Many of these places, they advertise places for rent just to collect application fees.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
And they don't even have See, what you need to ask is what properties are you affiliated with, and I want to verify it.
Yeah, but his wife, or his fiance went and actually saw and walked through the property, right?
Yes, she went and looked at it with this woman who works for the guy that owns this.
Okay, then that's different, because with the way rentals are now, there are people scamming people saying that there are places for rent when there is never a place for rent, and they literally just collect the money.
Did they tell you why they declined you ultimately?
Yes, she had already told them. She had a bankruptcy a few years back, And they didn't decline me. They okayed me, and I'm the one paying the rent. But they declined her application because of a bankruptcy a couple years ago.
Seems odd.
Yeah.
Even mortgage companies don't. So I called her back this morning, and I said, I want my money back, at least for her application.
How did you pay it?
I think she gave them cash. My fiance did it.
I don't think you're going to get your money back at all.
Oh,
at
no,
all.
She jumped on me this morning.
What's the name of the management company?
It's Hope Management or Hope Realty. I can give you her phone number.
But what basis do we call her and demand money back?
I think he's saying that the woman, his fiance, told them, hey, I have a bankruptcy on my record, still took to $50 and denied her because of the bankruptcy.
Exactly.
Well, will they admit to that? I mean, are they going to say she never told us? I mean, if we, we don't mind calling people, but usually it's a waste of time, Mike, because no one has...
I know that, and I'm not even to the point where I give a hoot about the money. I'm sick of these people scamming us. And
no, you're right. I mean, but in this market, there are so many people doing that. They're collecting 100 applications in a day when they know...
rent the place out.
What's that?
Yeah, they don't need to rent the place out. They make more money.
I know it. And all we can do is put out a warning. What else can we do?
Let's have Clint call him and see what happens.
Hold on, Mike. We'll give him a quick call for you. So, when we come back, I want to talk more to our common man today, and then if you have any questions for our Become the Banker investment organization, it's becomethebanker.org. If you want to see the video, it's becomethebanker.info. We have a lot going on here. We're trying to help people with what I call common investments that everyone can do. It's not just for rich people. And you can pick your level of money you want to put away. There's another thing I want to tell you about, and that is a reverse mortgage, which is a tool for some. It's not a great tool for all. Some people have found it necessary for a quick line of credit or for a reverse loan, a line of credit, lump of cash, where they want to use money and use the equity before they die. They want to live in their home the rest of their lives. Before you even think about it, look at reverse.com, because she'll tell you if it's a good fit or not. And many times it's not. Approvalreverse.com.
Second mortgages. Where do you use
This report is brought to you by...
home equity. Or home equity. Yeah, well, most people with the second mortgage, it is a home equity.
Is that I thought home
How come I don't see it anyway?
Maybe it was something that was going to be written. A lot of stuff got taken out, right? So I didn't see anything after, looks like that. Besides the call.
Good run. Good run. Whatever your name is, where did you see this? We have looked everywhere. Nothing about not being able to deduct interest, as long as it's under $750,000. I don't think it matters if it's a line of credit or what.
I know, partly cloudy and 59. Traffic and weather,
That's a problem. You know what? They're not very good at telling people what's in the fucking tax bill either.
There's so much in it, though. I mean, and I agree.
Yeah, but that's a pretty quick question. That's not a hard one. Does a line of credit, can you deduct the interest like we have forever? I would guess as long as it's under the 750, I don't think there's going to be a difference. And then let's say it is. Then what? Well, then you refi that second into a first and take it.
No, I totally agree. That might come up before we got a name or phone number out.
Those places are... My daughter's son-in-law went through that forever.
You won't have to worry about your wages being garnished or losing your
And places over and over.
They'll save you thousands and thousands of dollars. I trust John and Jack Larson and their team of experts. 10-2-844-LARSON.
One of the applications they got was a pet application.
That's 844.
They fill out all the information, the size, weight, everything else they could get. Oh, it works.
I would want to pay an application too if I had a partner.
On my referral list at referralist.com.
In the days for
in all of Denver.
there were more sugar
Never a good call from Caroline. I know. I don't like it. What you say?
So you guys are saying in January, what?
January 25th
and 27th.
Okay.
and 27th.
And when is it down here in
25th is the centennial, and 27th is the rest
So
of
when
the
you write off, if you go to becomethebanker.info and just register there, there's a form, and just go there and just click register. And then, yeah, we're gonna have it. That one starts at 6:30.
Good.
And we actually get some sandwiches, so.
It's right by,
Love sandwiches.
right by Maggiano's.
He loves peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah,
right?
You know where Maggiano's is?
Yeah.
It's right across the street at the Holiday Inn Express.
Okay. Okay.
right
Yeah,
there.
I know where we stayed there before. Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's where
Yeah.
we'll hold. Hey, Mark.
Yes, sir.
While we're waiting up, when are we going to do the the social media? Have you been collecting that data?
Yep, we have, let me see how much we have. Well, hold on, I might be logged in, actually.
Because I see it not for me, but for my kids.
Oh,
So we're gonna start doing
Well, I mean,
that.
how old are you?
61.
No, you're fine, man. I mean, we got people 73 doing this.
Oh, okay.
No, see, the older we are, there's a benefit to it because you can put more money in.
Oh, okay. That's really.
Yeah, so I mean, don't worry about the age.
But the recent ones are not good also.
It's funny, like today, just watching.
Yeah.
You're just watching like today.
Yeah.
It's not my problem, it's their problem. No, seriously. Yeah, no.
When did we start roughly? Do you remember?
This is the story. You mean
When did I put that pixel?
Well, that was about
November 13th. I'm
So
sure.
your next is the Phoenix, right? Next fight?
Yeah.
Are you gonna win?
Yeah,
Can
we
you
still
bet on
need
you?
more.
Yeah.
Still any more?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you
It's
guys-
just not enough
What is
yet.
it?
I'm trying to figure out the exact number. Hold on.
You know, you're not UFC yet.
Legacy Fighting Alliance.
Legacy fighting. Okay. I gotta see if that's.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. After this story, I'm gonna announce this will be the first time I'm announcing this fight.
Good.
I got cleared to announce it, so.
Okay, so details.
I'll be the icing.
We're gonna be going out to Phoenix now.
I'll be the icing on the cake. Give the sponsors a shout out, announce the fight, and
2.1K, so 2,100.
Nate said he wanted to spar
Since
a little
the
bit for
13th.
right
Somewhere up around, probably around 4,000 or 5,000.
Mike
We can
Brady
start
is lacking,
creating
so
a
I need to
lookalike
get
audience. But come look at the. It's funny, you can see.
all the hidden pads.
Oh, you can literally see when the commercials and stuff run.
But most of
Like here's today.
you're bidding, and then you have to be.
That's where the top dead center is.
Well, I think that's marked on.
Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303.
Isn't that cool though?
713 talk.
713 talk 303-713-8255. Welcome to the only show of its kind anywhere in the universe. Okay, let's go back to our guests now. We'll get to your calls. We'll try to help you as much as we can. Jody, you have a quick follow-up. You fell at King Soopers. You're a homeless woman, and you fell, and you were injured a bit, but you didn't really have a lot of injuries, but you were upset that they didn't treat you with respect, right?
Exactly.
And then what happened after you called us?
Coincidentally, or ironically, they called me that evening from the insurance company.
Yeah, it wasn't coincidental, but go ahead.
He took a report, told me, and I said to him, well, what do I do now? And he goes, well, we need to examine the tapes. And a group gets together and determines if you really had an accident or not.
Right, that's true. That's true.
Okay. And we will get back with you.
All right. I want you to follow this along. You know how to get back in touch with us, and we'll help you through it.
And I so appreciate everything, Mr. Martino.
Well, it's our pleasure. We did get involved, Jody. That's why they called you. And you just keep us informed, okay?
Oh, dang it. I thought there was more to this.
No, it's okay. They reached out to her, and they said they're going to examine it. That's good.
Okay.
So, Ian Heinisch, what do you think of a story, Mark? Ian, our common man today. No common man here.
I think of some of the issues I've gotten into in my life.
I know.
There's nothing that even comes.
But
I thought I was.
No, you weren't.
No, are you kidding me?
Nothing like that.
I was never in the Canary Islands wrestling in a fight club.
But your parents sent you. But your parents sent you to military school.
Oh my God!
No,
that's like.
Yeah, that lasted.
But you were in trouble a little. Nothing like that.
No, there's nothing like this.
You know? Okay. Well, I'll tell you.
We used to arm wrestle sometimes. There was no blood, no Crips, none of that.
So,
how about you?
No, I never got in trouble. Not big trouble.
No, but I mean, if you heard a story like this.
Never. But
it's incredible.
Well, actually, I know a story a little like it from a kid I knew when he was a boy, and he and I'll get into that. It's not my day to tell a story, but Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah,
he was in reform school.
Suzanne's reading that book right now.
Well, I was there the whole time with Mike, and when I say he was in the reform school, and I was friends with who came to be his adopted father.
Like the mentor.
Castellamato, right. So, but that's neither here nor there right now, although I love the fighting part of this because he's a student of Castellamato and other mentors. Ian, he loves his philosophies. Okay, so Ian Heinisch is an MMA fighter, but his path to being an MMA fighter, and by the way, he's quite successful, and he'll tell us about that, his life has since been transformed. He's a man of God, a man of faith, a man of conviction. He's on the straight and narrow, but it didn't start out that way. From the time he was in high school as a wrestler, getting into trouble with drugs and alcohol and women, and his path took him to Canada, to the U.S., to Europe, to England, to the Canary Islands, all dealing drugs and being in trouble, and then going to Colombia and other parts unknown to bring and smuggle drugs. He was in a Spanish prison for years, and then when he's let out, he changed his life in that prison. He got on the straight there, and then ends up in New York, and they throw him at Rikers Island for past sins. So he was a reform guy here in Rikers trying to stay straight, and these gangbangers are threatening his life, and they put out an order to kill because he wasn't one of them. For a while, the Latin Kings were protecting him. They were his buddies, but they said, look, we don't have the might to protect you. So you're thinking, I'm going to be killed. And this is about 2 or 3 months into it. You're at Rikers, and they put out a kill order for you. The Bloods were going
SOS.
They're going to kill you. Stab on sight. What happened?
Yeah, so, I mean, that was honestly probably one of the scariest nights of my life. I was just... So first off, Fingers came up to me, and he's told me, you know, you got to go to protective custody. You ain't no punk. You know, you got to go. They're going to kill you. So I called the guard over, and I said, guard, these guys in here want to kill me. And you got to move me out of here immediately, like right now, while they're all locked up. You got to get me out of here. And he goes, and I'll never forget, he goes, F you, white boy, and slammed the thing shut. So obviously the inmates have already talked to him to say, don't move this guy. We're going to get him in the morning.
And the guards just go along with it.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, at least when I was over in Spain, I could call my embassy. But who am I going to call? My lawyer? I was locked in my cell till the morning. I don't know if I would have made it to my phone.
Where was your phone?
Well, I mean, we had a phone that we...
Oh, but you didn't smuggle a cell phone in?
No, no.
Do people have cell phones?
Not as... More in Spain. We had phones in Spain, but here it's
harder.
It's way harder.
Okay, so what happened then? The next morning you're going to be killed.
So I stayed up...
As soon as they open the doors, you're going to be killed.
Yeah, so I stayed up all night. I was... Because they were making shanks.
Did you pray?
I prayed more than I ever prayed in my life. I was praying. I was shadowboxing in the mirror. I was making weapons. I was making armor. I was ready to barricade myself in. I thought of every scenario that could happen. It was terrifying, and I thought I was probably going to die or get very badly injured, and I figured I was going to take out as many as I could, and I was just praying to God for something to happen. Well, about 5 o'clock, our doors open at 6. All of a sudden, I didn't sleep at all that night. I was up all night. I was talking to Fingers. He was in and out of sleep talking to me, and they came to my cell and knocked on it, and I was like super startled, and it was these big football player looking guys, and they go, U.S. Marshal, pack your stuff, you're out of here.
Oh,
and I was like, oh my God.
What timing?
Unbelievable.
What did the marshals come and get you for?
Why? Because I had an order to get extradited back to Denver, where my case was for the ecstasy.
And you're thinking, oh my God, get me to Denver. I'll do prison time. I'll do jail time in Denver.
Oh yeah, it was unbelievable. And I remember I took all my stuff. I gave it to Fingers. I said, dude, take everything you want, whatever you want, you can have. All the warm clothes that my cousin brought me. because I have family in New York. And so they're walking me past all the cells of the guys, and I remember them saying, like, wherever you go, we gonna get you, white boy. And in my head, I was like, you ain't coming to Colorado. and then I remember the U.S. Marshal said, do you have anything in property? And I had my passport and a bunch of stuff. And I said, no, we're good. Let's go. Because, I mean, they have trustees working everywhere, but they could be linked up with the gang. So I could be attacked anywhere in the prison. And so I got on a
and
van.
You come to Denver.
I come to Denver.
You face charges, and you're sent to Jeffco.
Do you have high-interest credit card debt or student loans and feel like you will never get a...
More than one.
Hi, this is Ross Kaminsky from my friends.
Would you think of Jeff? Would you the new one up here?
It's
called
right off 6th Avenue.
Yeah, the new one, the big.
Yeah. That was like a hotel.
Yeah.
They had pillow covers, man. They had pillows.
Oh, really?
And I got to tell you about the journey.
I've never seen Santa.
The journey here was the roughest.
The what?
They threw us. It was 9 days in a van, shackled like this. I mean, 9 days. They drove to Pennsylvania, up to Vermont. 48 hours, I'm back in New York, and I'm like, what's going on? Because they get money every time they cross borders. So they're going to pick up and drop as many people as they can along the way. And they're only supposed to keep you in their van for 24 hours, for 48 hours. Every time they throw me to prison, I would go to close my eyes. Highness, let's go. And the heater was broken, so I'm literally like this every night. And there was no sleeping. I was hallucinating. I didn't sleep for 9 days. What?
Just to make fun.
Yeah.
You didn't go connect.
Oh, really? Oh my God. I mean, no. I was on a van, and that was one of the hardest.
This was in Rikers.
This was out of Rikers. Right. The U.S. Marshal.
When you were
with the U.S. Marshal.
This is the U.S. Marshal.
The U.S. Marshals fly them all over the place.
They didn't fly us. They didn't fly. They would pick people off. They drove out, and the heater was broken in February in the East Coast.
From Denver to from
New York to Colorado, but like this. Because they're picking people up, dropping people off. They don't let us go to the bathroom every 6 hours. And so I had to quit drinking water, because or else you're going to just piss your pants. And I remember one time I was like, pull over. And they would only let us go to the bathroom in a jail. So if there wasn't a jail around, you're screwed. They threw a bottle in my face. They said, deal with it. They said, if you keep talking, we're not going to feed you.
How you cuffed though?
I'm shackled from here to here. On my feet.
There's no reason to treat people like that. Even if they're fucking prison.
And there was people that it wasn't even the brother did a crime and said that he was his brother, and then they got him and they transported him for 5 days. He's innocent, but his brother's a knucklehead and said that he was his name when he got arrested. Oh, and he had warrants. So people like this were getting. I mean, an old man almost died. Like I mean, I was freezing. There was ice on the top. There was an ice sheet, and I'm like this, and he was literally
Did the van have benches, bench seats?
There was just bench seats. You couldn't lay down. Seat belts? You were just shoulder to shoulder, hunched over because you have your handcuffs on. They picked up an escape artist. He slipped his cuffs, slipped everything. He was just chilling like this, and I'm like, we're cool, right? Because I felt so vulnerable. I couldn't like block if he was like swinging on. And he's like, I could sneak out right now, but I don't want to. And I was like, you really think you could? He's like, I'll tell you the time. And there was this one time they were transporting another prisoner. He goes, be it now. And I looked, and there was no one there, and he was slipped out of his cuffs. He could have ran. So every time they would come in, he'd put his cuffs back on. That's how you get out of them. They put him in the back of a police car. They locked him up, and this is how he first got charged. He pushed up where the cage is. He jumped through the cage, opened the front door, and ran out. He was an escape artist.
But how did he get out of those nylon?
He could slip out. I don't know. He's an escape artist. He could dislocate his wrist and slip out. He's an escape artist.
It's easier to get out of them with a little thin anything because you just push the paw down.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't get my big hands out. I know that.
The heat, the ratchet, yeah. You sit on the side, the open your mouth down.
Really? I like it.
Bra strings are the best. The little metal things and bras.
Yeah.
Just gotta keep them in their mouth.
That had flavor.
Yeah, and then you take them out of the mouth and push them.
Yeah.
I'll bring it out of handcuffs. Really easy to get out of handcuffs. I'm surprised they've never gotten better. I'll have the whole world.
I think they're better now.
I got a kid. When you have a nurse, a doctor come around twice a day, or somebody coming out. You
didn't get the name I got? Whitney.
Yeah,
We're going to be better than Whitney.
In case you're having
That's not bad.
If
You don't have that. No, that's another scoop on everything.
Wiki Clint.
You can have cigars. The cigars didn't help you there.
I got our nickname for Clint.
What's that?
Wiki.
Wiki.
Fights would break out. Isn't that better than Scoop?
Get against the wall. They'd make you put your head against the wall, and they'd be like,
But he knows the scoop.
The guard came right up on my ear.
Who was the original Scoop? I mean, I didn't get that. Was that just like something in the newspaper business?
Yes.
I
don't know where that. That's interesting. I don't know where that came from. I know, but why the Scoop?
It might have been on Spider-Man. The guy was called Scoop.
Oh, he might have been. Scoop means, you know what?
You can look up the derivation of Scoop. I'm going to for Scoop as a news story. Derivation.
There'll be a picture of Clint.
What the hell happened? This was in the 40s they knew you.
Yeah, I think that's something the 40s in a movie, doesn't it? Man came from that movie.
When a newspaper reporter gets a scoop, it means they beat everyone else. Published story. Other meanings of scoop come from the shape or motion of a scoop, which is hollowed out, looks like something. But it, hold on, but it, I'm wondering where it comes from. It says,
See Wiki Clint.
it says ask Wiki Clint.
You're going to end up topping me, though, man.
No way. You know what I say? Can't fight bullshit. Definition of a ladle.
Are you finding now the most important asset is your word?
Learn more at getfoundfast.com.
That's all you had in like prison too. You have money or nothing. All you had was your word.
Imagine being able to have 20
How famous nicknames were born? Let's see here.
No, Scoop wasn't a nickname. It was they said they had the Scoop.
For over 20
The
years,
Scoop.
TLC has helped over 1 million people improve their distance and near vision.
The definition of Scoop has certainly changed. It said that,
for their own custom LASIK procedure, using a range of
I worked full time in the newspapers. Scoop was considered exclusive. I know that. Okay. Back then, if a competitor had something in paper that wasn't, they owned the Scoop for the entire story.
Today and get $400 off. That's
The movie The Front Page. They made that well extra up, and then like a movie called Front Page and stuff.
Okay, the Scoop comes from, listen to this. When somebody did an exclusive story, it was uncouth for other papers or media outlets to do the story, so you had the entire scoop, not just the tidbit.
They sure don't follow that rule.
Shit,
No, they steal from you all the time.
and they take credit for it.
Yeah.
Now, Tom Martino on 630 KHOW.
I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter.
Your troubleshooter, welcome to the show. 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. How is your life? We got all kinds of things. This hour brought to you by Ideal Home Loans. For your next ideal home loan, if you're looking for a loan, you know, you can go anywhere for a loan, basically. But Ideal is a direct mortgage lender, and they don't believe in one-size-fits-all. You can get a 30-year fixed almost anywhere, but they give you a 30-year fixed tailored to your needs. In fact, you can get any term loan, a custom term, and still get the low rate. You may not want to go back to 30 years. Or you may want another kind of a loan. You may want, for example, credit optimization. Well, what's that? You're approved. Why do you need credit optimization? Because they can make small tweaks to your credit, literally by moving a balance around here or there on a credit card, that can save you money. They know the tricks, the legal, ethical, and quick tricks you can do to maximize your credit score. They also, of course, have a rate guarantee, so if rates go down over the next 2 years after you refi or buy with them, they will refinance you free of charge. Ideal Home Loans, for your next ideal home loan, 303-867-7000. IdealHomeLoans.com. Our guest today, BecomeTheBanker.org. We've been talking about that investment. We'll revisit that in a little while, and I'll give you out a number you can call or the website for finding the next seminar. That's BecomeTheBanker.info. We have a special guest, too, as well, but I know that Gil is on the phone, and I want to take Gil because he's been holding, and then I'll go back to our common man who's not common at all. When you hear his story, it will blow your mind. This should be a freaking feature film. You know how they love making movies now about true events. This, I believe, will be the ultimate. What a movie this would make.
Quick update.
Okay, on.
Me and Dan, about 3 months ago, went out to a blind man that got ripped off by a contractor. They actually picked him up, and they threw his ass in jail a couple days ago.
Right. And
David Garcia.
And we've been chasing him down, providing information on this guy from the get-go. And, of course, you'll see it on TV, and they'll take credit for it. Like, we've been investigating this for months.
We were literally the first there.
I understand that. But I don't mind if people find stories on this show. That's great. As long as they expose the bad guys.
Well, how about a DA, though, actually throwing...
I love it.
...a criminal in jail. It's amazing, actually.
For consumer crime.
For white... Yeah.
I love that Weld County guy. They work well, man. Weld County... They do a great job for enforcing consumers.
It started with the Firestone Police. I mean, they really got involved.
They did a good job,
and they did a great job.
Yeah, whereas if this happens in Denver, there's nothing. Consumer crime goes unpunished in Denver. Gil, what's going on in your life?
Yeah, this is Miss Martino.
Yes, sir, Gil. What's happening?
Good. How are you today?
I'm doing good, man.
Good. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes. What's happening?
I wanted to get back. I want to get in touch with you. I've been trying to miss you yesterday.
What's going on?
Well, you know, I'm in a situation where it's just only me that's existing here on this planet with no family and things. And I'm trying to put all this life events together.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, you know, don't try to be Mr. Teflon. Why don't you call and see if you can get some help?
Okay, what do you need help with?
Well, I'm at the Town Place Suites at South Monaco there.
Okay.
And I needed a few days extra to stay there, and then I had a little bit of a balance there, so I wanted to pay that, and then because I'll have some funds coming in.
Now, why are you at these suites? What are you doing there?
Well, what I was doing there, I was working with setting up with a company that's out in Meridian, and I wanted to go.
Do you have a job now?
Yes, I do. I have an offer, and I have to finish my one.
And you're supposed to get out of there. How much do you owe?
Right now, $900.
Gosh, you owe $900?
Mm-hmm.
And how much? That's just your past due. Is that right?
Right.
What does that represent in time?
Probably about 2.5 weeks or so.
What are you doing? What are you doing there? I mean, what is your long-term plan?
Well, my long-term plan is to get with the company and finish. I want to finish my exam. I got one state exam I need to do.
And then what will happen?
And then I go with that company.
To do what?
It will be in insurance and annuities, that type of thing.
But why are you homeless, so to speak?
Well, it's just been difficult really putting it all together.
Are you married?
No, my wife passed from breast cancer a few months ago last year.
Where were you living with her in a home somewhere, or were you at this?
Yeah, we were married.
Right, but I mean, did you have a home, or did you rent a home, or what?
Yeah, well, we were kind of going around because she had to get to I had to be close to the hospital.
Were you homeless then?
Kind of semi, yeah.
So you're all alone right now, Gil?
Yes, I am.
And you're trying to get a job selling insurance, is that right?
Right.
What did you do before this?
Aerospace.
Doing what?
I was team leader, education and training, and
where?
Martin Marietta.
Why don't you have a job anymore?
Well, I was a caregiver for about 5 years.
So you had to take care of your wife, so you had to leave your job.
Yes, and I thought, okay, well, stop playing Mr. Teflon and.
Right. Do you have any relatives, Gil?
No, no relatives alive. It's just me.
You're all alone.
I'm all alone.
So he's homeless because he was taking care of his wife. He lost his job because he was taking care of his wife. He went and took a test to become an insurance salesperson. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. I have one left. I passed all of them except one.
So how long is it going to be before you actually have money coming in?
Well, I have my survival benefits coming in.
How much?
And it's almost $2,000.
When?
It comes in about the fourth week of every month.
And you ran short this month, or how did you get behind 900?
Well, yeah, and because there's some other things were coming up, and then I had to pay one last bill for my wife. I mean, for the burial thing.
Are you drunk? Do you drink?
No.
Do you do drugs?
No. Not at all. I'm in good health.
Okay.
How did you take care of your wife when you were semi-homeless with her when she was suffering and dying from breast cancer?
Well, I was kind of working, kind of like contract work.
Okay.
And doing the best I can. We had some help from where she was.
And they won't wait for your check to come in there?
No.
How much were you making at Martin Marietta?
That was like, that's been a few years ago.
What do we have in our charity account? Okay. Do you think so? Okay.
Yeah.
You're whispering to me. Okay. And then, all right. We really... Listen.
Tom, he sent me a schedule of needing like $225 on the 20th of every month is what he sent.
No, that was the payback to Tom.
Oh, pardon me. Okay.
Listen, here's the deal. We need to verify your story, Gil. This may sound harsh, but we don't know you, and so many people have told us sob stories that turn out to be just flat-out liars. And I'm not saying that's you, Gil.
Oh, no.
But we need to check you out, okay?
Sure.
Is Deputy Daff here today?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Okay. Get his information as much as we can, please.
Okay.
And also the management where he is.
Do you want to drug test him? I have one.
Yeah, probably. Gil, I know this sounds crazy, but man, we don't want to invest in addicts.
I totally agree.
We want to get addicts help, but we don't want to invest in them.
Exactly.
Okay, hold on. Let's just see where this goes. Okay? Let's see where this goes. I'm Tom Martino. If you want to help, by the way, we give 100% of anything. If you ever hear a case on this show and you want to help, every single dime will go to where you want to help. We don't take a penny, not a penny, for anything. No office supplies, no management, no administration. If you ever hear of a case here and you want to help, we'll put that money directly to use for that person. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255.
What'd you make of that?
He sounds off the cuffs. He sounds genuine. What do you think? What do you think, Mark?
I'm so naturally skeptical. I don't want to give an opinion yet.
Okay. Frank Duran, the real estate man, if you're looking for someone to list your home, if you're looking for a good person, Frank Duran, therealestateman.com, 303-920-1622. People have called and thanked us for sending Frank their way. If you want someone who will work so hard that you'll think you're the only customer, then it's Frank Duran, therealestateman.com.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better
Problems
Life.
on the north end and downtown. Stalled.
I didn't buy into it. I'm very skeptical. So I try to watch it.
Gil can't even give me a phone number.
What do you mean?
His number, he lost his phone. I said, I need your phone number so Daphne can call you tomorrow. He says it'd be easier if I called you guys.
Let him call us, but what is he calling?
Where is he at?
Oh,
So we don't even know what apartment complex or anything?
I never got that far with it, Mark. I just was like, oh, you need help? Let me put you on with Tom.
I can't even, we don't even have a way to check him out.
Line one. I'll take line three, but take line one.
Listen,
Hey, Gil. Gil?
He hung up, line one? He hung up?
Yeah.
I just want to know what suites he's at. I can poke around there in 10 minutes and know if he's real.
He said he was right around here, right?
No, I thought he said the suites. I thought he said the name of it.
He's at the Embassy Suites?
Oh, yeah, that's off.
Not Embassy.
Whoa. He's at the Waldorf.
No, I thought he said
America.
He said something sweet, but I didn't understand what the hell he said.
Like Spring Hill Suites or something?
No, it was more about sweet.
Yeah.
Oh,
that one, that place. Oh yeah, we'll go check them out. Those places are so easy. Literally, a guy like that, you walk in, you talk to the guy working the front desk about him. They know him, guaranteed. Find out just get the name of the place that he's staying at. That's the main thing. And
tell him the name for the show up. I'll show up.
I'll tell you the sad part. What I've learned is the better and more legit it sounds, the fucking more crooked they are.
The more legit.
What if I add this?
You first. That's
I just like saying I think it'd be so tough to be older like that.
You and your case
in the winter here.
In the winter. Right way by Bell and Pollock.
I don't know how they do it.
It's the wrong place to be homeless. For over 30 years.
Yeah, go to Cali.
Really nice guide.
Go to San Francisco because they'll pay for
everything. You can feel good about with Bell and Pollock.
Phoenix.
Call them at 303-795-5900.
You can watch the fight.
Yeah, we can watch
it.
So when is your fight?
January 19th.
And it's going to be in Phoenix?
Phoenix, Arizona. Live on Access TV.
Oh my God, I'm going to be there then. January 19th?
Yep.
You're be in Phoenix?
Nate will be there too. Come on through.
EPTH came in.
Somewhere right in the middle of I got to go down for teeth. Back down to.
You drive down?
No, I fly into Phoenix and I drive down to Algodones.
Everything with the house.
And once fly
Goes back well, San Diego's one closer. But I got family there. Sure, I don't know about that. I can stay free in Phoenix.
I'm Diana, and we are everything but the house.
Where's the fight at there?
Partner for families across the country. Your belongings will land on our online marketplace with local audience visitors. An advantage that allows us to
I don't even know the arena. I just got.
Is it kind of set up like Golden Gloves? There'll be like 15 different matches going on, or how does it usually work?
No, there'll be about 4 different weight televised fights.
But how about even? I mean, is there more fights though, even not televised?
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll have like an undercard of like local. I mean, just like.
So it is. It's like the old Golden Gloves.
Yeah. They'll have probably about 6 fights, and then the TV will come on, and there'll be 4 fights.
Is this me?
Oh, yeah.
Never tell.
Hi, Tom Martino here.
Here. 303-713-TALK.
303-8255. So our story, our common man today, Ian Heinisch, he is an MMA fighter. He has really changed his life. He says that he found faith in God, and he found faith in man, and he found a meaning and a purpose for life, and he has changed and basically has been what people would call on the straight and narrow path and doing a great job with his sport and his life. But it didn't start out that way. From Parker, Colorado in high school, through Canada, the U.S., Europe, England, the Canary Islands, he had a string of crime and partying and drugs and women and drug dealing. He ended up in jail several times. The longest prison stint was in Spanish prison, and that was a really rough time. But he changed there. You explained something. You said, why did you change there? What happened? I mean, why did you change? I mean, you were your whole life doing what you were doing to that point. Yeah. Why did you change?
So it's, I mean, kind of where I fell off track when I was like 13, 14, and it just, when I started drinking and drugging, I was just not clear-headed. I was to the point where I would drink in the morning. I'd drink all day, every day. Like, and then the drugs would be on top of that. And getting in prison cleared my mind. It kind of brought me back to reality, where I looked around and I said, this isn't me. What am I doing here? What have I done so long? And then having that month in isolation where I just lost my mind, and there was nowhere else to turn, literally, except to the only book I had, which was the Bible in Spanish. And that's when I started reading it, and it was just life-changing.
So you felt a physical shift in your life?
Yes.
Okay. So then you leave that prison after being a fighter there, and I mean in a good way fighter. There was organized sport there.
Yes.
And you became a winner. So you come back to the U.S., but unfortunately had some warrants to face here. So went back to prison, but you went to Rikers Island, which is one of the worst in the world. You were literally fighting for your life there over a 2 to 3 month period. And the night before you were sentenced to die by the other inmates, this one gang had planned to kill you the next morning. By some miraculous event at 5 in the morning, you're picked up by the marshals. And they say, you're going to Colorado.
Yeah.
Why were you extradited to Colorado?
Because of the previous charges, I had felony warrants for drug trafficking.
So what was the stint in Rikers for? Just to wait to be extradited?
Yeah, so when you're a fugitive, wherever you get picked up in the state, that's where you're going to get held and detained. And then it's just all due process of them getting the U.S. Marshal, getting someone to transport you to the state where you committed the crime.
Okay.
Yes.
So then you come here, and it must have been like a picnic compared to Rikers. Where did you go when you got to Colorado?
Well, first it got way worse. First, they put us in a van, the back of a van. I was shackled from my feet, my arms to my feet, and we drove to Pennsylvania, up to Vermont. 48 hours later, we're back in New York. And this is wintertime.
Why were you driving for 48 hours and ending up back in New York?
Because we were just picking people up, dropping people off. And I guess they got paid more every time they crossed the border. So they weren't doing a straight shot to Colorado.
So you eventually got to Colorado. How long did it take?
9 days.
9 days you were shackled in a van?
In the back of a van. And it was February. And the first 4 days I was in a van where there was no heater in the back.
Did they feed you?
Yeah, so they would feed us fast food. That was like our treat. But they would only let us go to the bathroom every 6 hours, and everyone had to go before that. And then I figured just stop drinking, because if you can't go, they would throw a bottle in your face, make you hit your knees, you had to pee. It was terrible.
So you get to here, and then what?
So after the 9 days later, we finally got here. I hadn't slept in 9 days because every night we would just be shivering and bouncing up and down and not being able to lay down. So I finally got to Jefferson County. It was amazing. I got some sleep. It was super chill compared to where I was at.
Well, yeah, Jefferson County Jail was like a picnic compared to
it was
Rikers Island.
It felt like a hotel, man. We had pillows and pillow sheets. It was.
And you were, and there was no one there that would even remotely scare you compared to Rikers.
No, it was a joke pretty much compared to where I was at. And then I got bailed out Valentine's Day 2014, and since then I've completed probation successfully. I have not drank since then, and I have just completely changed my life around. I went 15 fights without losing a single fight, without losing a single round. I just fought for the LFA title. I unfortunately got caught in a submission in 2 minutes, and that guy I lost to just fought in the UFC, made his UFC debut. So a minor setback, but nothing I'm not used to, with a little delay and a little adversity. I just...
what are your plans?
So this is actually my first time announcing it. I have my next fight January 19th in Phoenix, Arizona for LFA. I believe it's co-main event.
But not for the championship.
No, they want me to fight for the championship later on. I guess I have to win one more. There's someone else fighting for the belt currently scheduled, so I'll fight the winner of that unless they get signed by the UFC.
And then after that, you want to get signed by the UFC?
Yeah, that's my dream. I'm gonna win the UFC belt. And I've just been doing a lot of things in the church, and I've tried to go to the prisons. I want to speak to prisoners and just share my story.
Yeah.
Because I believe there's so many lost people, and I was found, and I want to help them be found as well. And I mean, I believe at any age, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can change your life. Unfortunately, I got denied to be able to go into prison and speak for 2 more years.
Why is that? Because of your record?
Because of my record. They just said it's too dangerous because I smuggle things, I guess.
Oh, okay. So you have a bad reputation.
Yeah, because of my record right now, they won't let me enter the prison to speak to them. But that's all right. I mean, it's in God's timing, so if it's not now, it will come though.
So meanwhile, you're training?
Yeah, I'm training at Factory X in Inglewood, Colorado. I've been there for about 3 years.
And you have a manager?
I have a manager, Jim Walters, and my current professional record is 8-1 right now. And I literally, if I won my last fight, I would be in the UFC. So, and I'm just excited, man. I feel good. I feel changed, and I'm just doing what I love, and all the dreaming and the mental preparation that I had in the prison has just helped me so much.
All right, so people, that was, how about that for a common man for toward the end of the year? It's going to be hard to beat that. Ian Heinisch, look for him. Do you have a website, Ian?
No, you can find me on social media. If you type in Ian the Hurricane, my fan page will come up.
Ian the Hurricane, like Facebook?
Yeah, like Facebook, and then Ian Heinisch MMA is Instagram. And, you know, there's been so many people that have helped me out.
How do you spell Heinisch? H-E-I-N-I-S-C-H.
That's correct.
Okay.
I also have a mini documentary of this whole story, all original pictures on YouTube that you can actually check out. Just Google or YouTube my name. The video will come up.
What's the name of the video?
It's just Ian Heinisch's documentary.
Ian Heinisch. It's H-E-I-N-I-S-C-H. Got it.
And if I could just take 1 second to thank everyone who's helped me, Legal Pete's, Reception Naturals, Parker Landscaping.
Are they your sponsors?
Yeah, these are all my sponsors.
Good, go ahead.
Northern Climate Control, Altitude SEO, Caveman Chefs, Denver Sports Recovery, Rad Roller, In the Cut, Hayabusa, Jamie Atlas, and Jim Walters is my manager. And if anyone out there is looking to team up with me, make a small investment, get your company in front of tons of eyes, and help out a hometown hero and just be part of this journey, please contact me on my Facebook.
Good stuff. Okay, we, of course, have been talking about this investment opportunity, Become the Banker. We also are taking your calls, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Speaking of jail and trouble, Tom has a problem with a bail bondsman. Tom, what's going on? Why is that? It's true. It's very true. What money is returnable to begin with? What money is returnable? A certain amount you pay for the bond. So, what's that? Plus. You didn't, Tom, you didn't answer me. How much did your brother pay? Well, that's what you say. I don't know what the terms are. How much was bail? Okay, let me explain this to you. If bail was $10,000, that $1,000 your brother paid never gets back. Right. That's for the bond for $10,000.
That's the fee.
You never get it back.
Exactly.
So I don't even understand what you mean about a refund, because the way bondsmen work is whatever the bail is, they post the bond and they charge you 10%. It's not refundable.
It's not refundable. So I don't understand which part is refundable. Now, if his bail was $1,000, then he would have just bailed himself out. He wouldn't have got a bail bondsman and paid him $1,000. So I don't understand this situation at all. You have to help me out here.
Yeah, I'm just kind of the middleman on this.
Then you're going to have to ask your brother, because it's not making sense to us, Tom. It's not that we don't want to help you, but I don't know if your brother has any money coming back. You have to find out what was his bail. Find that out first. Then find out exactly what did he pay the bail bondsman. If it's 10% of the bail, he's not going to get it back. I mean, they might run a special. I mean, they charge 10%. I've never heard of one that charges less. They put up the bail. They charge 10%. They don't just take 10% as a deposit. They charge it. So your brother may not even be aware of that. Anthony, what's going on?
Hi, Tom.
Hi, what's happening?
Let me get you off speakerphone there. Okay, short version. My wife was in a car accident a few years ago. Prior to that, she was seeing a chiropractor for just routine maintenance.
Uh-huh.
And after the car accident, the chiropractor that she was seeing said, hey, the owner of this chiropractic office, he also does post-accident care and whatnot. And then we started seeing him. She did sign something with him. We still need to see that to see if there was actually an agreement to the amount. Prior to the accident, we were paying $50 a session for a chiropractic adjustment.
Prior to the accident?
Correct.
And then after the accident, your med pay kicked in, right?
Yeah, and then, yeah, the med pay would have kicked in. We had great insurance for all.
But then your med pay would stop after her claim is done.
Right.
And then you would self-pay again.
Exactly. The problem is now he's basically upped his price post-accident to $350 an adjustment.
As opposed to how much?
$50.
Okay. Here's what many chiropractors do. If you walk in the door, you will pay $50 for an adjustment. Okay?
Right. Or $100, whatever.
Yeah. Well, let's just use this as an example, like you were paying $50. If you get in an accident, they up that for the insurance company, and it's $350 per adjustment. Okay?
Right.
And in other words, they're just charging more because it's insurance. Now, where some of them go wrong, and it's downright crooked, is if you walked in the door, they would charge you $50. Many of them require you to pay that $50 as a copay, and then they still charge your insurance another $300. But what's weird is you can have one guy on insurance, and he's paying him $50, and his insurance is paying him another $300. Then you have somebody side by side who's not on insurance, and they just pay the $50, and the $300 is waived. So it's amazing to me that chiropractors get away with that. But I don't know if that's what your guy is doing. If your guy is simply raising the price for insurance, many of them do it. Is he raising but is he trying to collect $350 from? Does he realize that insurance isn't paying it?
That's what our lawyer's trying to talk to him about.
Well, that's what you have to figure out. You need to get a hold of the agreement. If your wife agreed to pay $350 per adjustment,
then we're stuck.
Oh, it's pretty bad.
Well,
but if he charges everyone else $50, he would have to do some explaining if he took you to collections.
Well, one of the reasons they bring it up, though, if now he's got to testify for an accident and take notes and take all kinds of different things, well, that's one of the reasons the price would go up, though.
Right. But when you're doing self-pay, they should go back to what normally they charge anyone for self-pay, unless they're doing something different in the adjustment. Until you get a copy of the agreement, we're really at a standstill. And I'm glad you have an attorney on it. You know, when we were talking to Ian earlier, we talked a lot about drugs and drug addiction and you know, drug dealing. If anyone listening is having a problem with drugs, or if you have an addict in your life, the Raleigh House is available with evidence-based treatment that they have been doing for years. They are located here in Denver. They're called the Raleigh House, like Raleigh, North Carolina, but they're located in Denver. But, you know, they don't expect anyone to just check into rehab or treatment without knowledge. They've established a special line for you to call. It's not a sales line. It's not a high-pressure line. It's confidential, and it's no pressure. You can call and ask any question you want about drug addiction, any question at all. You want to know about what it is, what treatment is, what it costs, does insurance cover it, how do I approach the addict in my life, what do I say? Maybe your situation is weird, you want to explain it. Maybe it's not your... Maybe it's your wife or husband. Maybe it's your brother or sister. They can help you with all aspects of treatment and addiction, whether it be alcohol, prescription drugs, or illegal drugs. Give them a call now, because addiction will never get better without some kind of intervention or some kind of help. 720-893-5559. 720-893-5559.
On the Fox Business Network, on Wall Street, stocks are slightly higher in afternoon trading. This after the Senate passes a bill that...
So here's a curious tip about Gil. A gal says, he worked for Martin Marietta, Well, Lockheed bought Martin Marietta out in the mid-90s, so I asked
That's
Gil
why I
Gilchrist-
started asking how much you were
Gil, I
paying.
asked Gil, I said,
still
when did
Lockheed.
you work for Martin Marietta? When did you quit? He goes, oh, about 12 years ago. So I don't know, maybe that's something to call him out on. Like, he can't
I don't want to
remember.
call him out on anything, I just want to...
Still a Mark Marietta out there.
If we can look behind the scenes.
That's all. Yeah. Did we get the address?
I got the name of the, because I said, what name is on there? Because Mark's going to be checking it out.
And what do you say? Did he give it to you?
Yeah, he gave it to me.
Where's
But
send
I
it to
had him
me?
on hold because I thought you wanted to talk to him.
No, I don't want to talk to him. I want to check him out off the air.
Lunch? It's fraudulent.
Hey, Mark, you were right
So
about
you're LFA 31.
Once the insurance company requires a diagnosis, a treatment plan, and an
Really? Oh my God, it triples their work.
They a lot of people.
What did you look at, Dan?
Where he's to be lighting at, actually, the main headliners is Moffitt
They want
versus
status
Lee.
reports.
Where is that?
They get
Phoenix. And then they get even more if they show up to testify.
January 19th. We're going, Tom.
America Theater.
We'll be in Vegas shortly after. No, shortly before.
Well, Vegas to Phoenix.
They don't say the other people on, just Moffitt Lee is a headliner.
Yeah, they just put the...
You know the guy I'm trying to think of that used to promote fights, Steve Alley.
Steve Alley?
You know, yeah, he used to promote a lot of MMA fights. He was a friend of mine years ago.
How come when I tried to tag her in that last post, I couldn't? My mom in the last 5 years has decided she doesn't like wearing anything that's made out of animal skin. So in other words, leather, all this stuff. But, wow. Well, yeah, it's just the most bizarre shit in the world. This is the same woman. This is the same woman that would make me veal all the time growing up. So I had to remind her on Facebook that, you know, this animal shit is all brand new. Because it wasn't long ago you were cooking me baby calves.
Right.
Because that's the kind of son I am.
Just say, but what about this, Mom?
I know. How about all the leather you bought me?
Didn't they support Bernie Sanders?
Yes.
Did you tell her, well played, Major? Well
Yeah.
played?
I can't believe the stuff I'm hearing from this woman who I grew up with, you know. You can't kill a squirrel. Prairie dogs, they're earth shaving.
Well, that sounds like me. You're just identical to that.
You love prairie dogs?
I'm the kind of guy that would stomp on the brakes to save a squirrel or to save a rabbit.
I'd buy tiny little tools to fix a rabbit that someone else hit.
George Costanza.
How much do the tiny tools cost? Oh, thousands of dollars. How much does it cost to put the squirrel to sleep? Well, it's by the pound, so 38 cents.
Is that the one that released and the bird got it?
Yeah, actually, I think Orr ran out the window.
So Kramer had no, but you had the setup. What was the setup on
Big,
that?
not Ed McMahon.
What was that? Not Andy Griffin.
Oh, man.
Merv
Griffin. The funny part, though, is he actually had that animal guy in the studio. The guy's sitting there going, what is this? I don't understand why I'm here. This is an apartment.
And then George comes over. Oh, look what we got stopping in. George Costanza.
It's JJ. One of our own coaches.
Oh, I asked you like is that good?
Hi, Tom Martino.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK. Okay, now, one email says, Tom, on the Become the Banker, I understand the guaranteed rate of return is 4% plus dividends. The loan cost is around 4%. We covered this, by the way. So I'm afraid to take loans out against the policy. And I've been doing Be Your Own Banker for 10 years, but I've never borrowed anything yet. Just hesitant to take the money out. Maybe if you could explain that. And we did. Joe, the insurance company charges for the money you take out because they allow your money to stay in and grow.
That is right.
And the net effect on you is zero cost of money, basically.
Basically, right?
I
Because
mean,
you're making money on your money.
Yeah, yeah. And while you're making money on your money, while you're paying a little interest to the insurance, so it's pretty much a wash, except for a little. And then the other part, though, is you purposely pay yourself more. You purposely pay yourself more than you're paying you're paying the insurance company, so you have a net gain of tax-free money growth.
That is right.
Okay.
That is right.
So we address that.
Hey, Tom, can I just make one real quick comment on
go
that?
ahead, yes.
You know, banks make money by using the flow of money. They make their money work for them by lending it and then paying themselves back.
Of course, that's how they do it.
And
yeah.
so it is with the Become the Banker philosophy.
That's how everyone makes money in it, because you share that money that's growing for you. You're sharing in what the insurance company does.
That is right. So you get a bigger dividend.
Where's that video you did that explains it?
BecomeTheBanker.info. BecomeTheBanker.info. And the phone number, you guys want to give that out if they want to call direct.
303-779-6600.
Okay, and you can find out about it on the referral list, but BecomeTheBanker.info is a great page with that video, and then they have a sign-up for a seminar if you want to go. You don't have to go to a seminar. If you can get your questions answered in a phone call, give them a call, 779-6600. So, what's going on, Maddie?
This is Maddie Tom, and thanks for taking my call.
What's happening?
I got a 2001 Grand Cherokee, and I had the windshield checked and everything because I thought maybe it might have been leaking, but it's not. It's the sunroof with the tubes that run down along the post.
They're clogged up. That's common. They get clogged.
Well, they're broken. I don't know.
They're drain lines for the sunroof. The drain lines for the sunroof go down the rail of your frame, and if it breaks or gets clogged, water will back up into the into the headliner or into the vehicle.
That's into the vehicle and under my feet. While I'm driving, I got about 3 inches of water each time.
3 inches?
Well, just about like that, yeah.
That's a lot.
And that's what I was wondering. It's just on that one side, on the driver's side, and I took it to a body shop because somebody recommended that, but they can't do it, and they said they don't do it. I
don't know of anyone who puts in new lines like that. I don't know. I mean, it's a good point, because those lines usually do not deteriorate. They usually simply get clogged. How do you know it's broken and not clogged?
Well, they were clogged, they said, but then they took and said, well, they had a couple little parts for me this morning when I had the
some people throw air, they take air and they blow air through them.
I wonder if they got clogged and it got real cold, they freeze and break?
Well, it could have, because he gave me a couple of...
I guess that's true. What you could do, I mean, some of them get snaked, but if they're broken, I really don't know anyone that runs new lines, because it's almost impossible to get them down that channel.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if maybe, you know, that one particular there. It's like a little spiral notebook looking
What about
thing,
it?
Tom, it's going to have to be an upholstery shop. They have to pull the headliner to get to them.
Well, they have to pull the whole... sometimes it's in the frame. It's in the side rail. They may... I know what you're talking about. Well, from the sunroof through the roof, but then once it goes over to the side of the car, down...
Through the windshield posts on the front.
I think it's inside that post. You know,
yeah, it is.
It's a major job, Maddie. It's a major job. And I'm not sure that it's got to be worth it, because it's getting so wet. But you need a combination of people to do it. It's kind of like a car handyman, because they do have to tear out the headliner and maybe the side paneling, and they have to trace that line and replace it. It's nothing more than tubing, but they have to replace the whole thing.
Maddie, do you open the sunroof very often? Do you use your sunroof?
No, I do not. Not that much, no.
You can take clear packing tape and just tape around the edges of it, and it'll seal it up for the winter.
You mean on the outside?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if packing tape is waterproof, is it? But a waterproof tape, what he's saying is just tape it up, period. Don't let water get in there. And if you don't open the sunroof, it would be fine. But, Maddie, other than that, I don't know. Who would you recommend? Who would you recommend to do that? I can't even imagine. I mean, I think... there are shops that might handle that. I mean, Budget A1 might take a stab at it, but you're going to pay for time. It's going to be expensive. It really is. 303-713-TALK. Do I owe you a break? Okay. Well, we got more coming right up.
From the L&L Heating and Air Conditioning Traffic
Some
Center.
improvements.
Well, it's got to be leaking on the very top then.
No, it always leaks. It's made. Water always gets.
It's like a gutter system.
Yeah, I thought there was a little rubber seal.
There is, but it always
On
gets a little
around
more.
the edge of, they call it actually a moat on one of the cars.
Yeah, it doesn't flow in there, Dan, but it does get water in there. It doesn't flow in.
Send me that lady's address.
But it has a drain
that
for that.
guy's address.
Four tubes that go down.
But it doesn't sound like it can generate
That much water?
Complex, whatever
If
it
you're
is.
driving through
I don't even understand that.
I don't either.
Because when you're driving, the rain is not, it's not pouring directly in there. I don't understand how that can happen.
She had her sunroof open, that's the rest
Why
of the story.
is our Corey Gardner?
What's that?
Because the tax, everything's just passed.
But why Colorado's?
Why not?
National Fox News. Yeah, it's an old Cherokee. She never opened it. Just
Can you see how many listeners you have at one time?
No.
No.
They can only
Only on
estimate.
Facebook.
They can only estimate. They cannot, there is no scientific way there's no census of listeners like online. Online is an exact number, but there's no way to do that through the air. Even with people meters, it's an estimate. That's all it is. It's an estimate.
People carry a little thing like in their purse or in their car, and when that little thing hears the show, there's a tone
But it's
inside
only
the
as
show.
accurate, but they only do that for 400 people every week.
And each one represents X amount, which
So
is all
it's
part of Nielsen or
kind of.
It's part of Arbitron. But if the sampling is not scientific enough or not widespread enough, it's a very bad sampling. So you can have a good book or you can have a bad book depending on the sampling.
And still still in reality have the same amount of listeners.
Right.
I mean, you got a lot of reach though, because I mean, we get calls.
Oh, we get a ton. Here's the thing: we know we have listeners because of our results. But here's the deal:
the downloads are crazy.
With with Arbitron, it's weird because you have the people meter, but then they still do a diary.
Does that pick up the people that
4
are
times
driving?
a year they do a diary. But you want to know about a diary? When they started doing the people meters, do you know what stations took big giant hits? Minority stations, you know, like what they call black stations or Spanish stations. And I'll tell you why. Because people would put those down that they listened to them. When they didn't. But they put them down because they were voting.
In the diary.
They were voting. They were not telling them what they listened to. They were voting. And they wouldn't write down Rush Limbaugh because they hate him. But they listened to him. And so when people meters came along, you had a shitload of all of these talk shows that were controversial, got huge ratings. And all those popular PBS and all these other ones hit the tank because people really weren't listening. They were just saying they were listening because they were voting. They were using it as a ballot as opposed to an accurate portrayal.
Trump polls, I'm sure.
What about news? Because can't people see on the news the ratings or
no?
Like
TV, there is
my
no
roommate's
exact-
Corey Rose
On satellite and cable.
There is even TV is estimated. Oh, cable is not estimated. Cable is exact. Cable is exact.
Need to search for the perfect Christmas soundtrack. iHeartRadio is the only app you need for Christmas music. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
We all want clean carpets for the holidays, and we also want to do something kind for our fellow man. Now you can do both with
I thought you could literally look on your computer and be like, oh, we got X amount of
We can for YouTube and...
but that's a fraction.
Right.
Say it again.
YouTube and...
But online never makes real
Because
life.
all these are like...
No, but even those are somewhat. People have learned to go in there and do multiple clicks and set up bots and.
But what, Tom? It's top 5 or top 10 on the iHeart downloads?
Yep.
Right.
In the country.
You guys probably get a lot of calls out of state.
We do.
Can
Well,
you
not
do-
a lot of calls, but I
Can
mean,
you do stuff out of state? That's not all right.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
no guidelines.
Great, yeah. Absolutely. We do it. We've been doing a lot of webinars.
Are you licensed?
What's the furthest call you've gotten?
Are you licensed around the country?
I think
Yeah,
Texas.
it's the idea that there's somebody in that state. We just
I
call
got
that
two
state
people I'm gonna refer to in
Oh, well,
15
thank you.
minutes.
You know, like, I'll need like a matter of 24 hours. We talked about.
Well, I'm gonna give you guys a call.
You remember,
Yeah,
remember the guy that called here, the Mark, the guy that called?
Yeah.
From Pagosa Springs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Pagosa. We did a webinar.
Oh, okay.
We did a webinar because, I mean, he couldn't come to the seminar.
That's cool.
We did a webinar. And
Was it just you guys?
Just me and him.
Yeah, okay. Like a Skype almost.
Yeah, through a computer. Yeah. So we do that.
That is pretty cool. Actually, that's something to mention. I didn't know they did that. If you don't want to go to the seminar, he'll give them a one-on-one seminar.
Yeah.
Where you have almost like a PowerPoint, you can do presentation and talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is really cool.
Yeah, we do that. All over.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Hey, if you've listened to any
If
of the
you've
show
listened to any of the show
about
about our common man, Ian Heinisch, an MMA fighter who's had an incredible journey to the ring, you should look him up online. He's on Facebook, and what is the Facebook name?
Ian the Hurricane Heinisch.
Ian the Hurricane Heinisch. Heinisch is H-E-I-N-I-S-C-H. Then, if you want to know more about Become the Banker, now you can sign up for a seminar, or you can call them and they'll do a webinar with you privately if you want, or they'll come and visit you. It's becomethebanker.org is their main website. Becomethebanker.info has my video on it that I've done to explain it. And their direct number is 303-779-6600. Michael, you have a suggestion for that woman with the leaky sunroof. What is it?
Yes, Tom. I had suggested you get some of that spray that they advertise that is supposed to be 100% waterproof, and mask off the roof around the sunroof, and just make a new gasket.
Ah, her gasket's going bad, you think?
Yes, because once she seals that, since she never opens it, that'll be a nice permanent gasket for her, and then she won't have the water getting into the sunroof area.
I think he's talking about that spray stuff, or the other way, Flex Seal.
Thank you, Michael.
Also, Tom,
yes.
a listener called in and said Leo's Automotive does that work as well.
Oh,
so,
Leo's Automotive.
yeah.
They will work on that.
Mm-hmm.
Leo's Automotive. We ought to check them out because we get a lot of calls about sunroofs that are leaky. Now, if you want to, we have a few minutes if you want to try to get in, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Ian, while we have you here, MMA fighter, what were you hoping to tell prisoners when you went there? You said you wanted to get to talk to them. What did you want to tell them?
When you're locked up, man, you feel like you're not going anywhere, and
your life's over.
It's pretty much life's over. It's very negative in there, and just let people know that there is. I mean, for most people, you are getting out someday, and you are going to get back on the street, and don't be a statistic and go right back in, because it's just retarded. And
to use your time.
Use your time wisely. I mean, you can either do the time or the time will do you. And you need to use your time that you're in there wisely and really think about what you want to do and get a plan when you get out. Unfortunately, the American prison system doesn't really help you reform compared to the European. I mean,
the European system tried to teach you what to do when you get out?
Yeah, well, I mean, you get to go to school, you can learn a language, you can take classes, you get actually conjugal visits with your wife if you have one, which is more humane, and you're not having to join some kind of crazy gang that you're, going to be in, and you can learn trades in there. There's all kinds. Only thing you can do in American prison is learn to be a barber, and barbers don't hire felons. So what do you do?
Richard, what's happening, Richard?
Hi, Tom.
Hey.
Refresh my memory. Where did you have your lens done for your eye? Was it Icon?
Yes, Icon. I had what was called a clear lens exchange. That's where you just have your lenses removed and they put new ones in as if you had cataracts. I did not have cataracts. And the lenses they put in can focus now, so you don't have to choose a near lens or a far lens. And I have some readers that I carry with me out of habit. I never use them except if something is tiny, tiny, tiny. But I mean, I can see perfectly.
That's fantastic, Tom. Thank you.
All right, sure. Icon LASIK. They did a great job. Ryan, you have a sunroof suggestion. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was a Volvo tech for 12 years, and those sunroofs, they are just controlled leaks. Those tubes are there all the time, so it's not a seal issue, it's nothing. If those tubes have broken, if it's where the tube connects to the sunroof frame, she needs a new frame. If it's just the tube itself, you can run new tubes.
You can?
Yes, absolutely, you can.
Without taking it all apart?
You're going to have to take some interior parts.
Right.
But whatever the make and model of the car is, take it to the dealership. I guarantee you those techs have done it a million times.
I'll bet you it costs, doesn't it?
Are a pain in the butt. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because if it's not a wagon or an SUV, we had to pull the windshield so we could get the headliner out so we could work on the thing.
Man. Well, thank you for your suggestion or for your information. Remember, Ian the Hurricane Heinisch on Facebook to follow his career, and then become thebanker.info will get you a video you can look at about that investment, and you can also sign up for the very next seminar, becomethebanker.info. I'm Troubleshooter Tom Martino. Don't forget referralist.com for all help, information, and referrals.
Are you burned out? Do you feel the stress rising on Sunday when you realize you have to head in?
You know what? I don't have a whole lot of calls in because I think everyone's listening. They even want to know. People don't shoot. Give us a call with people don't call. They're not supposed to start. Sure. Oh no, well, seriously. Yeah, we'll get out. Get on something that's like, and like be educated more. You don't have to happy Christmas. Take care. You guys have happy holidays, all right? Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Do you want to get through a week and a week?
I didn't care less about me. Yeah, right.
All right, yeah, well.
Okay.
Mark and I already went through it, so write that check.
Okay.
And then we'll
Dan,
adjust
could you
it at
grab
the end of
those?
the year.
I've got a lot going on.